Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Make this baseball season a home run with Templeton Rye Whiskey for the strong-spirited. With an all-star lineup of 4-year, 6-year, and 10-year reserve, Templeton Rye is crafted with a strong community spirit, the perfect way to celebrate your home team. Templeton Rye Whiskey for the strong-spirited, available near you.
We're celebrating 4th of July early at 42 Degrees with deals so low you'll declare your independence from big box stores. Get our premium kratom starting at only $9.99, CBD from just $8.99, or candles from just $5.99. Light up with an awesome pipe at 42 Degrees. Choose from a great selection of glass, silicone, wood, or metal with a smoking price as low as $12.99, and with the most knowledgeable, friendly, and professional staff anywhere. 42 Degrees. By your mom's house.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Sweet Summer Sale, June 30th through July 10th, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $31.14. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. 1620 The Zone.
The 2-0. And Tucker hits it in the air pretty deep to right center field. And you can kiss that one goodbye. 10 rows into the seats for Kyle Tucker. A 3-run homer. And the Astros lead it 9-0. The 2-1. And Bregman hits it well and hits it deep to left field. Walker is going back, looking up. Grand slam for Alex Bregman. Hits it off the facade of the second deck. And the Astros lead it 14-0.
There's a drive out into right center field, and it's going to drop in for a hit and tie the game. Nick Prado singles to right center. Didn't hit it hard. Didn't have to. He hit it off the end of the bat. And hit it in the profitable spot. Dropped it into very short right center. So Nick Prado drives in his 23rd run. And predictably, the Royals have bounced back here in the 8th inning to tie.
Another 2-2 pitch. Vermeen lines it down the third baseline. Fair ball. Isbell's in to score from third. Lopez runs to third. Wilson waves him around. Here comes Lopez to the plate. Throws off line. Lopez scores standing. Freddie Vermeen wins the ball game. A 2-run double in the bottom of the 10th inning. The Royals leap out of their dugout and celebrate on the left side of the infield. They come from behind and defeat the Guardians 4-3 in 10 innings.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
I think we can all agree there was a significant level of enthusiasm between a Denny Matthews call and a Jake Eisenberg call.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Think Denny will make it to the new stadium. What are they talking about, 27, 28?
Yeah.
I think Denny will last that long?
Well, like in life, yes.
In life, yes. In baseball, no.
As a broadcaster, I think it's unlikely.
It's probably good that Jake was doing the 10th inning yesterday. And the Royals won a rare game, kind of a weird game down at the K between the Guardians and the Royals. But if Denny had to describe Freddie Fermin's base hit, much less enthusiasm than Jake Eisenberg had.
Or subdued a bit.
And the Royals win 4-3. Jake will be back with the totals right after this.
I mean, this is what you expected to get out of a Bieber Greinke type showing that day too. So it was low scoring and down to the wire and extra innings.
Yeah, there's a lot about the Royals that did not involve that game yesterday, or unfortunately the incredible slide by Jose Ramirez, who daringly on 2 strikes stole home. With Aroldis Chapman, all he had to do was throw a strike, strike out the batter, and the inning is over. But instead, he was Aroldis Chapman, and Ramirez, who is on a heck of a run, had an incredible slide. That was a great slide. It goes for naught because the Royals walked him off in the bottom of the inning. But that was a hell of a play.
Took some stones.
Now I think Ramirez should sit out the weekend. Looked like he might have jammed his finger.
I think so.
Sliding home, sit out the weekend.
Sit this one out.
By the way, we'll talk to Mike Schaefer, who's in Chicago, to see the Guardians and the Cubs play today. Welcome in, everybody, on a Friday morning, a feel-good Friday, one of the better feel-good Fridays because it is the last day of June. It is before we go on a mini break. We won't be back until Wednesday, and we are halfway through the year. I don't know if you guys you guys have been in business before. You've done some spreadsheets and stuff. You have quarters. Yeah, we're halfway through the year.
And it's raining again, and it's not like severe stuff. So, the farmers are happy. Nice soaking rain.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of rain. No. But here's the problem. Here's the people that don't want the problem.
Uh-oh.
So tonight is the big concert down the street at Memorial Park.
Come to her window.
Good morning, Melissa.
Sugar Ray. I don't think she listens. Yeah, unless we talk about the Chiefs. Yeah, I don't think she's.
So it is Sugar Ray that's also?
No, we had Sugar Ray on the show.
Oh, okay.
The guy was half-baked.
McGrath?
I mean, he was hammered.
Really?
It was all over the map.
Wait, this was just recent?
When he was here to perform.
When was that? No, this would have been.
This is probably like 7-8 years ago.
Okay, so this still would have been post Sugar Ray and more McGrath.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was.
So that's pretty cool.
And
though,
it sounds like he doesn't know who he was.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like he was still maybe reliving the Sugar Ray days, which I can appreciate because I actually like them.
He was here. We started.
He just wants to fly.
He started to tell stories that had nothing to do with him. It was kind of we're trying to figure out how we land this plane, and then realizing that in the next hour George Clinton will join us.
Oh yes,
who was performing down in Bellevue.
So wait a minute, you had George Clinton as well?
Yeah, we had
P-Funk.
We had a producer. It was grabbing guests, those kind of guests. Yeah.
So does sound like George Clinton.
We had Sugar Ray on.
He'd never played
and
the
he
pit.
was performing here, and he was really excited about being in Omaha, but he started to tell stories, and we were all looking at each other going, I don't think these are about him. Like they had nothing to do with the question we asked.
Yeah.
So then George Clinton came on, and he was performing down in Bellevue, and he was in his hotel room, and it was quite entertaining. So much that he was asking us if he was going to get paid, and then he bailed on this event down in Bellevue, and ended up in Missouri performing later that night.
Wow.
Sounds about right.
He was really good. He was a really good guest.
Yeah.
We caught him probably when he was just waking up. But yeah, halfway through, he goes, hey, are you guys going to pay me? And we thought, for the interview? And so I said, for the interview? And he's like,
the dog in me.
Like, no, man, tonight. I was like, I have nothing to do with that. Yeah, and then he bolted on him. Oh, yeah.
Was that the...
man, I came to work here
I
too
know
late.
Bellevue used to do like the Bellevue Rocks event. I wonder if it was part of that. I'm assuming this was this would have been around this time.
So it's River City Music.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they had P-Funk. Wow.
Yeah.
And he just decided, nope.
Just like when he bailed on the Civvy to play the pit.
That's right. Because they couldn't find their way to the actual arena.
Yeah. Okay. So this was what was written. I have to go back and look at this. Oh, it was crazy. Yeah.
And then you got Mark McGrath, who's just completely like unhinged.
Yeah. It was rather entertaining. It was a good Friday show.
Wow.
It was off the rails.
That sounds good.
But about Melissa Etheridge, here in Omaha, we're very patriotic.
America.
We're celebrating America. People get triggered by the new statue at Memorial Park. If you read the public pulse, people are complaining about the woman didn't want the kiss. It's the statue that is a traveling statue that's huge. It's up on the hill at Memorial Park.
It's the baby it's cold outside effect all over again.
But people complain about everything. But Memorial Park, I think, is going to look like Woodstock because it is pouring rain here in Omaha, and we got a lot of rain yesterday. So it's like a frog strangler this morning. And this is like at 6 a.m. It's like the running of the Gumps for Alabama Fan Day, where they open the gates and everybody has all their footballs and their stuff. They're sprinting to get a spot to get Saban's autograph.
The running of the Gumps.
So they start at like 6 a.m. and people start putting down their blankets.
Yes.
Yeah, they ain't putting down their blankets right now.
No, you got to lock down your spot. Yeah. You'd be okay if you just put down like your fold-out chair, but yeah, it's usually like putting down the blankets because we went the one year it was Kenny Loggins. Yes.
All of these acts for that concert in Memorial Park have a theme.
What's
non-relevant?
Oh, well, yeah, I was going to say
past their prime.
I was going to say washed up, but yeah.
Well, I'm not going to go washed up.
Not washed
but
up.
I would say they're well known. They're just not currently, nobody's sliding into their DMs.
Well, very true.
Because they'd hurt themselves.
Unless you are a venue that's looking to get your services at cost. No?
Now, what does that mean?
On the cheap.
Oh, okay.
Like, hey,
Thought you were
our
going somewhere
budget, we feel like our budget 20 years ago could not afford this gentleman or this gal. But now we feel like our budget for said event could afford this person.
She puts on a good show is what I'm told.
Okay.
And they had what was it Pat Benatar last year?
Yeah.
Pat Benatar got after it. That was actually from afar. I heard it. And it was like a good show. And she sounded, because she's getting up there in age.
Mm-hmm.
She sounded really, really good. But tonight, I would go right now and I would grab a piece of cardboard and I would slide down that hill.
Yes.
That's what I would do right now. I don't put a blanket
down.
I'm going and I'm treating it just like Woodstock and Memorial Park.
Yeah.
So good luck to everybody. It's going to be a little bit damp. You're probably not fighting for your spot because people get very territorial. They mark their spot. They got the blanket down. They got the chairs. Usually people don't mess with it. That's the thing about being Nebraska nice.
It's the unwritten rule.
Like Charles Jefferson's car.
So
I would bring spray paint and I would spray paint the grass of where I'm at.
Is there a time?
Who is GS?
Is there a time that they say, all right, you're able to throw down your blanket?
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
So it is 6. Because I did see a couple cops already over
That's
in
true.
that area.
I did. I had to do the speed limit.
In fact, the Winnebago behind the stage, the Winnebagos, even saw some lights on in those Winnebagos.
Have you not been there before?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I was at Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
I was.
I have not.
So that's like it's like their same setup every year.
Okay. I just didn't know what time you could actually go in and start laying claim. And I did. I think we went to the 311 had their Omaha's anniversary. Was it like 150 years or whatever? And they did a free show there, and that was actually really cool too. But the other Memorial Day weekend shows, I have not seen. Kenny Loggins one was good. We were thinking about going tonight, but then we realized we'd have to bring the kid, and that would just be that'd be a mess.
Just let him slide down the hill.
Yeah. Oh, and he would too.
You guys would be dancing in the mosh pit. Do they have mosh pits for Melissa Etheridge?
I don't think Melissa Etheridge has really a mosh pit.
That's too bad.
Like people that,
I mean, it's not like Slipknot.
All of us that are past our prime, I include myself, you hop into the mosh pit, you relive those days. Is Melissa Etheridge, does she create mosh pit atmosphere?
I think we could create one, and I think in that setting, we'd actually feel pretty tough in that mosh pit.
Growl like death metal?
Yeah, I don't think Melissa Etheridge does that. The only thing, the song that I can think of right now is the Come to My Window. I know she's got some other bangers, but that's the first one immediately comes to.
You get stuck in my head, I'm gonna be angry.
I don't think she's had a lot of new songs. She's still in the mainstream because she's a big Chiefs fan. So the Chiefs have her at Arrowhead a lot.
Does she sing the anthem?
Yeah, she's done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Do they have a list of Memorial Park concert performers? We can rank these. Because
I
will play this game.
Yeah, this would be a good ranking.
The first entry is Motley Crue. That's not true. Motley Crue has never played at Memorial Park. Can you imagine that? Trying to pass that over here in Omaha.
Yeah.
Hey, for Memorial Park, we got Motley Crue.
Yep.
And somebody in the mayor's office goes, maybe not.
There'll be a couple people like, yeah.
Oh, there'd be more than a couple. There would be far more than a couple.
But I also think they have they have local bands, so they have like an application process.
Yeah,
so
because
local bands can perform.
Now that's what like the opening or the openers are going to be like local bands, right?
Yeah.
An evening with Melissa Etheridge. You can't really call it the Memorial Day, like the Memorial Park Bash.
Well, certain bands it's an evening with. Like you wouldn't have an evening with Motley Crue.
Right. Like I'm not thinking that like the Memorial Park Bash featuring Melissa Etheridge. No, it'd be like an evening with Melissa Etheridge.
Yes.
You gonna clean that microphone up there, Jimmy?
No, that's okay.
That half lung you just spit it out.
Hey, is today our One Beer Friday, by the way?
It can be anything we want it to be.
I think we said we would.
Yeah, we're first in here, so
you guys go crazy. Get after it.
I got an outing.
You got some of yours over there.
Can we put one in the fridge? By the time we get to 9 o'clock, it'll be cold.
A little bit later, Mike Schaefer is going to join us. Nebraska did not get more than one commitment yesterday. They got Carlin Jones from Texas, which is a really, really good pickup. I said it yesterday. I think it will kind of be slid into the month of June. I really like this defensive lineman from Bay City, Texas. They did not get Caden Massey. He decided on Kansas State. And, of course, Caleb Pyfrom decided on Illinois. Back to Carlin Jones. So, somehow along the run of recruiting, when kids are taking pictures with the coaches and their family, Nebraska introduced the throne.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually seen the throne.
Have you sat in the throne?
I've not sat in the throne.
Okay.
I don't think it would be appropriate because my eligibility is up.
Yeah.
And
so
I don't
know if it's comfortable.
And I don't have any kids yet that are going to Nebraska to play football.
Yeah.
I'm recruiting though. I'm doing a good job. I'm looking in the portal of the orphanages.
You're a friend of you're a friend of the program. That's good.
Yes, I'm trying to help them out. I've always wanted to adopt an athlete, and then just sift off of them. Like they're getting all the recruiting attention. I'm going on recruiting visits.
Yeah.
So I'm in these pictures with my kid on the throne. So I've seen the throne. The throne actually exists. So I don't know when it happened where we went from the throne to
there's the boombox too.
There's the boombox, but at Colorado they have the barber chair, which I think is very unique.
Mm-hmm.
Resourceful.
I
too.
think all athletic programs should have have in-house barber.
Yes.
I mean, if you are
A&M does.
Minnesota basketball has a barber chair right outside of their locker room in Williams Arena. That's the first place I saw it, and I was like, that is a great idea because people that are. You walk into a community that is, like Lincoln. There's not a lot of African Americans in Lincoln. So I come there as a student athlete. I'm used to getting my hair cut, man, and I need it cut a specific way, and not everybody knows how to cut my hair. Man, you have an in-house barber?
Yep,
that's a winner.
That's next level.
Can you imagine that on a recruiting?
I remember
visit?
when Clemson launched their facility, their new athletic facility around the football complex, and I mean, it's probably now going on close to 10 years. And I thought that was like one of the coolest things that they had. Like, wow, they've got a barber? That's really cool. Now it's just becoming more like common.
Well, like Colorado has, you sit in the barber chair and Dion and your position coach and your family surrounds you. They also had the cars where, when they were doing their whole big push when he first got there, they had all the fancy cars.
For a second, I thought you meant the band, but I'm still thinking of the Memorial Park thing. So
we got the archives of the
the Cars could have played.
I actually wouldn't be shocked if the Cars ever did.
I do not see the Cars on here. We'll go through the list here in a little bit. Huey Lewis in the News.
Okay.
Yes, I do remember hearing about that.
There we go.
How come I didn't go? I like me some Huey. But
that's the power of love.
Caleb Pyfrom, Carlin Jones, who committed to Nebraska yesterday. This is the first I have seen. And I'm wondering if they did it for Zane Flores when he went to Stillwater. He had a picture on a horse. In uniform on a horse.
I have seen that there.
On his visit to Stillwater, he was on a horse on the field in uniform.
Yeah, I have seen that before that they've done that.
It would be one thing to just be
horse poop on the field turf,
street clothes, but then you're going on uniform as well. I mean, I guess if you fell off, you'd be protected, but yeah, that's a look. That's a good look. Yeah, I don't know.
Mike Gundy, big Yellowstone fan.
Is this now becoming like the new arms race of trying to outdo everybody?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, what cool image can we put you on? Can we prop you on?
I'm team barber chair. I think that is a great idea.
I'm now on to team live animal. Like if you go to
the horse is kind of cool.
If you go to Florida, they picture you wrestling an alligator.
Well, yeah, you can't outdo an alligator.
There's probably a little bit of training that you have to go through. It's probably real quick though.
Mike,
Some
you can get
safety
Mike
training.
out at LSU.
Yep. Would it be more? See, I think there's some of these pictures that you're posing on something or with something. Would it be more badass or kind of cute if you're with Uga? If you just had Uga.
Both.
Because Uga's kind of, I think it's.
I mean,
like,
hell,
if
if we
you
had a
saw-
bulldog here at work, I'd
you have a little
take
bulldog,
a picture.
I think you'd be like, but it's Uga. There's like legendary status with, whatever number Uga we're on.
Well, I think the current state of Georgia football, I would definitely stay with Uga. You know that Georgia is not having their recruits pose with a car or a female.
Nope.
No.
I mean, more likely
Or at a bar.
More likely they're going to wreck that car. They're going to have
boy.
a little encounter, domestic encounter with that female that's in their picture. Still, I don't know why that's not a bigger story.
Yeah, it did kind of get swept away a little bit.
Not everything means more in the
away.
SEC.
Like the Atlanta Journal-Constitution wrote a story about it, but this is like hello, Georgia, you've been successful. Now everybody's paying attention to your program.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've had 300 plus driving-related incidents since Kirby Smart took over as head coach. What in the hell? I've been to Athens. It's not that hard of a town to drive in, unless you are driving around Sorority Row and you see people doing the walk of shame, and then you're probably like, you're staring and you might run into a car. Other than that,
I've seen
Athens,
that happen.
well, you know, a little bit of navigation, like when you're driving up around through the campus to get to Stanford Stadium. But other than that, Athens is an easy place to drive around. But they got 300 plus driving related incidents since Kirby Smart took over. It seems like this, and then they also have 11 players have stayed on the roster after they had domestic encounters. So so Georgia wins. People are like, let's see how the sausage is made. Whoa. Then they have tragedy in their program, and people go, let's take a look at all of this. It should be, I think, a bigger story than what's going on right now. Makes me go, man, of all the winning that Saban has done, for the most part, Saban's never really had any scandal or any major issues outside of what everybody in college football with 18 to 22-year-olds encounter.
Well, it always seems like, too, if there's anything that creeps up with Saban's program, anybody that even kind of goes off the path a little bit,
But what if this was going on at Alabama or Texas A&M? Be front and center.
Yeah.
I mean, what if it was going on at Ohio State, for example? Ohio State would be on ESPN. Why is Georgia different?
It's a great question. Yeah, it's a great question because you're right. I mean, Ohio State, any of those other programs, it would be major story. And I don't. Yeah, now you got me thinking. Why? Because it's been covered, but it's not been covered to probably the degree that it should probably be. And I don't really know what's different with Georgia, other than the obvious that they're back-to-back national champions. What's the big difference between them and any other school that it would be front and center, like in Alabama, who's
because
it's not like we forgot about them.
Is it because Kirby Smart is like likable?
It shouldn't be.
I mean, the national media really likes Kirby.
Yeah, but
they won 2 national titles. They could be in line to win a third. The indiscretions. You won. I mean, the same thing happened in Nebraska. Once Nebraska started to win, and people are like, okay, let's see what's going on. And then you hear about, one incident. Well, let's see if there's another. And then the national media get a hold of one thing and they run with it. And you saw what it was like here in the mid-90s. And trust me, in the mid-90s, I mean, you had Armin Katayan come here and write a book. You had Bernie Goldberg sit in the back of a press conference, and I was there that day, asked the question. It really, really was bad because not only the time and place, but it was like the second question of a press conference of a game week where people were really interested in, asking football questions.
Yeah.
And he asked the question, it throws it off, and T.O. says, I'll talk to you out in the hall and all that kind of stuff. But you saw the national non-sports people show up. Right now, it looks like this story in Athens is being covered by sports people. When do the news people, the Geraldo Riveras, who I guess is retiring, they show up in Athens to start doing stories on Georgia football where they're not looking at it from the sports angle. They're looking at it from, we got some people that have died. We've got some people that have filed police reports. We got some people that have had some domestic encounters with your football players. They didn't go so well. We got to have some speaks.
Yeah, I don't know what that's going to take.
So back to back to taking pictures with
Live
recruits.
animals.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Feel Good Friday, not in Athens.
But yes, in Omaha.
So live, but no. If I was at Georgia, I think they gotta roll UGG out there. I mean, you don't want to wear UGG out.
Yeah, no, I think you come to UGG.
The little fella.
Yeah, you come to UGG.
Oh, what do they want now?
Well, like at LSU,
It's like Santa.
What if you were recruited at LSU? And first of all, I'm going to take you to Raising Cane's because that guy is
Absolutely.
all in on buying LSU anything they want,
I've
which
been
is
to the
good.
original.
Be nice to have him.
Mhm.
They have the weird room where you pose back to back with Brian Kelly, and
Yeah.
they have the strobe lights
do
and all
some
of that kind
dancing.
of stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
I see more and more schools have that.
Mhm.
But why don't at LSU they have Mike the Tiger?
Yeah.
Like you can get in the cage
With
with
Mike.
Mike the Tiger. Or at Texas, you're like riding Bevo for your recruit picture.
Well, I could understand maybe the safety risk with riding Bevo.
Just don't go near him if you're a bulldog.
He could be temperamental.
Just give him some Benadryl.
Oh,
Just
they're going to say some gummies.
no,
It is Austin.
no, just give him some Benadryl. Give him like his little slow mood, and then you put the recruits on Bevo.
Well,
Hey, I'd go to Texas if they put me on Bevo.
Tigers love pepper. They hate cinnamon, right?
I don't know.
That's
We'll
what-
have to find
no,
out.
that's-
Try
that's
them
what-
both.
isn't
See what
that-
happens.
isn't that what we found
That's
out
what-
from Alan? in
That's
The
what
Hangover?
that's what they say, Nick. Everything tastes like chicken.
That's I believe Alan hit us with that knowledge in The Hangover, which has to be true. The Bevo one I could see being a little bit problematic again if he's being temperamental, but I feel like if you've got the cage there with Mike, that would still be pretty cool if you could pose right next to it.
I have been to the cage. It's right outside the Maravich Center, so
So
it can be done.
And Jimmy, you probably definitely know this, and Gary, you've been to Waco. They've got the
Chip and Joanna.
well,
You're gonna ride them?
No,
Yeah, they got the little bear.
well, yeah, the bears now. They got the bear. They have the little. It's like off of campus, but it's like pretty much right there. That it's, dare I say, like a little. It's like a little bear cave, like a zoo exhibit that you would see at our best zoo, and they have like multiple bears.
So maybe Rule didn't utilize the Bears when he was
Yeah, I'm
recruited at
wondering.
Baylor, so he didn't have a top 30 class.
That's what I'm wondering.
Okay, so poll question. Did Carlin Jones choose Nebraska because Nebraska did not stereotype a Texan? You're from Texas. Let's put you on a horse.
Let's get you on a horse.
Put this hat on.
Yay, freaking haw!
Dave says, let's just build off nothing but cornfield stereotype. Put our players in a combine.
And
Hey,
could have a big corn thrown.
NIL opportunities.
Yep.
Ernest, we know we want you to come here. We're in a battle with Texas A&M right now. We're going to have you take a picture with you and the family and the coaches and the throne, and then we're going to take you outside of the stadium, and you're going to be in a combine, and you're going to drive through the tunnel, and you're going to drive to midfield, and you're going to get out because we're looking ahead. You're going to get out of the combine, and you're going to say, "Amen."
Oh man, that would be amazing. Now, my only question is, if we got the combine to its full width, could it make it out of the tunnel? Would you have to kind of angle it?
I think you'd have to angle it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Trying to think. I've actually been in a combine, so I'm trying
Or
to
they
think.
just have the tractor. They have the tractor that they had. The new.
Yeah.
Hurley.
there you go.
They
Yeah,
could do that.
That would
They could do
be
that.
pretty cool. Or you could just go to some random cornfield in like Valparaiso or something and just,
I think all of this
make
would
a show out
increase
of it.
the entertainment factor of recruiting.
Of course.
These are great ideas.
As Nebraska's at 22 recruits. How'd you get there? Combine. Boyce says, so at Colorado, is the photo sitting on Ralphie or running with Ralphie?
I think running with
Yeah,
Ralphie
you
would
gotta
be
run.
pretty amazing. But then you got to have a pro when it comes to the camera work.
What if that was part of the deal in Boulder for a scholarship? Like you come to their camp and everybody races Ralphie. Like if you can't beat Ralphie, you don't get a scholarship.
It's like the coal walk. Got to make sure that you got the stones.
I think
to
Dion would be in
Buffalo.
favor of it because young Dion would have definitely raced Ralphie and maybe won.
Well, there's getting, vertical and 40, all the measurables. That would be another statistic of what your acceleration, what your burst is compared to the Buffalo, compared to Ralphie. And if you do become in a stare down with Ralphie, who blinks first?
Is your short shuttle better than Ralphie?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to kind of gauge agility. That's not your standard methods of gauging such things.
We will talk more about recruiting. Again, Carlin
Live
Jones
animals.
from Bay City, Texas. I like him a lot. All right. And don't look at the stars. We're not star hunting. But Danny Kalin did get bumped to a 4-star. is look at the film, and I have one of the magazines. So there are 2 high school football magazines that I get, actually 3, because Bob Jensen puts out a Huskerland Prep football magazine, does a really, really good job. So I always get that. But Florida puts out a high school football magazine, and then it took me a while. It was probably about 15 years ago. I was in the airport in Dallas, and I saw the Dave Campbell Texas
the Bible.
football. So Dave Campbell Texas football preview is the Bible. So Phil Steele has the National Bible. Dave Campbell has the Texas Bible.
That's what I grew up with. Yep.
It is from college. There's pro in there. You got the 2 NFL teams in Texas. You got all the colleges, and then it is primarily high school. And the people that are involved in it take their job very seriously. I mean, that is everybody that plays high school football or is around high school football in Texas picks up this magazine. And all you need to know is that he is the Carlin Jones out of Houston, where Nebraska is going H-Town. Nebraska has more of an impact in Houston than James Harden has had or will have.
Yeah, it might be coming back.
As they now have 4 guys out of the Houston area. H-Town, rise up. I mean, more than any other Power 5 team out of Houston. What are you doing, Dana? Can you not close the borders?
They got some damn good ball in Houston.
So, but the Dave Campbell Texas football magazine has Jones as the preseason Class 4A Defensive Player of the Year. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That is a big, big deal. It's not the largest class in the state of Texas, but it's a good high school. Nebraska's already got 1 player out of there that's on campus now. But he's the preseason Defensive Player of the Year. Enough said. And then I'll go watch his film and go, that guy is probably going to be in my Super 6.
Just a little bit of film that I watch, pushing guys around. I mean, and
4A is not that small either.
But also
down there,
sometimes lined, and I'm sure primarily he's going to be interior, but even when he would line up on the edge too, for a big dude, 270 right now? Yeah, he's
from a college weight
he's
program.
impressive. He's impressive to look at.
All right, Matt Verzal will stop by as well today. The lineup brought to you by the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. You imagine Verz when he was visiting Nebraska, they tried to make him sit in a throne or carry a boombox.
I think he would laugh. He might just do it, but he'd be laughing. Like I didn't know Verz back then, but Verz now, I feel like he would just kind of laugh and be like, "What is this? I don't need all this."
What would be the equivalent of the throne back in the 90s on a recruiting visit?
I mean, the boombox would
the
have worked.
Boombox would have been in play back then.
Yep. I mean, it would have been something that you brought with you to campus. Gosh, what would be?
They take the Walkman and they put the headphones on the recruit and they're playing his highlights.
A little yellow Sony Walkman.
And this would be pre-Discman too. So this would be like cassette Walkman.
This would be the Walkman you take to the game to listen on the radio.
Yeah, absolutely would be.
You can always join the program. The Zone Hotline brought to you by 42 Degrees, the source by your mom's house. 951-1620. Zach the Lego Maniac writes into the Equitable Bank inbox where you can get a hold of us as well on this rainy Friday morning. Gary at 1620thezone.com or Handley at 1620thezone.com. His high school film reminds me of Malik Collins, talking about Carlin Jones.
That's a good one.
Yeah. He's very versatile. So he looks like the ideal player if you're running a 3-3-5 and you need a guy that's versatile and can, is more than just a one tech up front.
Yeah.
He fits that bill. I like twitchy linemen. You can tell that he's been coached really well and that he's strong. His hands are really good, but he has some Texas boy strong in him. And he's at 270. How much is he going to go to 290 by the time he gets here? I'm telling you, I like this pickup a lot. And it's going to be off the radar a little bit, but watch his film. And also another thing that adds to why I think he's important is that is a position of need, and especially in this recruiting class.
Yep. With the defensive line and what we talked about, what we'll see this year too, and being able to get those guys on campus as quick as possible, develop. Yeah. I would agree with you just, again, strictly looking at film, and I understand their highlights. Like there's one moment where just on a zone read alone, running back, nope, he doesn't have the ball, quarterback, and he gets them both at the same time. Like just, yeah, there's just instincts that you can kind of see if you're watching like first move and ability to kind of read like screen type settings and be able to kind of hold back, try to eliminate that passing lane. There seems to be a lot there that could translate.
Well,
I would say.
To add to the Lego Maniacs comp of Malik Collins, if you remember Malik Collins, who I don't think Carlin Jones wrestles, but Malik Collins was a wrestler, is their first step. And Carlin Jones' first step, a little bit what you were saying, Nick, is impressive.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Terrence Knighton, who I always wonder how long Terrence Knighton will be at Nebraska, because I think he'll be one of those guys that will go back to the NFL because he's that good of a position coach as he gets his feet on the ground coaching in college. But I think eventually he's a defensive line NFL coach. But you think about what he wants to do with defensive linemen, and you got a guy that's got a first step like that and all the other things we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there yet because he's comped him as Chris Jones. I mean, Chris Jones has already said he's going to win the Defensive Player of the Year award this upcoming year for the Chiefs. But Malik Collins is a really good comp.
Yeah.
That's a good call. Nebraska's got 22 commitments. That's amongst the tops in the country. Stanford's got 26. Boy, David Shaw leaves, and you think, what's going to happen to Stanford football? They are off to a really good start. They got 26 commitments, and there's some big-time – I had some big-time 4-stars that have committed to Stanford. Michigan has 24. Minnesota has 22 commitments. Usually Fleck goes quickly in building up a class, and then there's some attrition. So not surprised that Minnesota's there. Michigan is, I got to get a spot. I mean, Michigan is, their class is going to be one of the tops in the nation. All right, you can always interact with us on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at Gary Sharp 1620, at Nick 1620 as well. We roll till 10, Feel Good Friday, last day of June, halfway through the year. And before a mini break, going into a holiday weekend. How many days away, Jimmy?
Let's see, 62 today.
All right, so let me do the math real quick. In now less than 9 weeks on a Friday morning, after Nebraska's Matt Rule begins his era, we'll be talking about a Nebraska football game on the show.
Oh,
less than 9 weeks away.
Prepare your overreactions now.
That doesn't seem that long away.
It'll go fast in grown-up time.
That's not far, guys. We're in single digits here. This is great.
All right, 6:42. There's Nick, Jimmy, Garrett. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aww. He just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Twisted Thunder Fireworks is going to save you big money. You'll find the best variety and the lowest prices in the entire state of Nebraska. Don't believe us? See page after page of products and pricing online at twistedthunder.com, where you can watch everything before you buy and choose local pickup so it's ready to go for you at the tent. Go to twistedthunder.com to check out all of our locations in Nebraska and the newest location in Council Bluffs. That's twistedthunder.com.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone Inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone Inbox.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
I didn't have any funk in Bellevue. He just bailed on him. River City Music Festival, all excited. Bam. George and Funkadelics. And then they showed up in Missouri that night.
I want to know.
That's the part I want to know. Where'd they show up?
How did the festival pivot? That's what I want to know. I mean, you got that's a
big deal.
That's a name right there. P-Funk All-Stars, Funkadelic.
Yeah, like the whole the headliners that year, they all backed out.
Oh, all of them did?
Yeah.
So what the hell they do? They have like a cool fireworks show?
I'm not sure. They just had open mic.
Yeah, they have just one of the coolest karaoke parties ever.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm assuming that there was, obviously, if he's asking you guys, "Where's my money?"
He goes, he said, am I going to get paid? I was like, what? Like now?
Shane?
He goes, where's my money? Like, you know who you're talking to? Oh, he was in his hotel room. So
Yeah.
he was,
We have nothing to do with that, but we hope you do get paid.
Here was one of the headliners that released a statement after this happened. I'm truly sorry for canceling the Nebraska Festival.
Nebraska Festival.
I feel like blank. That's a feeling that I'm not used to feeling. I love to play festivals. I'm so grateful to get the opportunity to play so many. Over the years, my team and I finally learned to follow our guts. The first couple bad checks we received, we got mad. Lawyers were hired and more money was spent, and ended with a head-shaking lesson learned. Who wants to admit that they don't have the money to pay you? Not me. I admire all promoters and festival producers because they take a huge risk for all of our good times. Yeah.
There's, and I don't know who was behind the promotions of this, but I know when they did the Grassroots Music Festival, this was like 2013, 2014, and this was again another 311 concert. And they were coming back to perform their entire Grassroots album, which was one of their older ones, one of the originals. I know they were having a lot of issues with the promoter and getting things lined up. The whole payment part of it, that I'm not 100%, but they were like, the promoter would throw like different acts without them like approving anything, and stuff that was like leading up to their performance that they were pretty ticked off. Like, I mean, and you being in marketing as well, you know how some of those people, they have eyes as big as the state of Texas, but as far as their delivery, it's not nearly as good. And so I know it always seems like the artist is always going to be put on blast because, like, well, come on, can't you still do it? Well, they're there to get paid. Yeah, it's not charity. They're there to get paid. And when you're dealing with someone and they are either unwilling to pay you or they're paying you in like shroot bucks, like, yeah, you're probably going to be a little turned off by that, to where at some point you got to say, I'm sorry, we're not going to provide our services until we get something substantial. And yeah, that's too bad. Without knowing the whole situation, what took place there, but if multiple people pulled out of that, I have a feeling you might have been dealing with a slimy promoter.
So here is the list. There have been a couple of acts that are very popular. Pat Benatar is a two-timer. Let's see here.
I see Sheryl Crow. What was last year?
All she wants to do is have some fun.
38 Special. Like there's a
there you go.
There's a definite theme of bands that play the Memorial Park concert. Bright Eyes.
Heard of Bright Eyes? It's a little more recent.
Can't believe the Doobie Brothers have only been here one time.
How about Chris Isaac in 2019?
Oh no, it's better. Chris Isaac, good. Little Steven.
Yeah.
Hey, Steven Van Zandt.
Yeah.
I think I was out of town for that. So Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. And then Eddie Money. Blues Traveler.
Perfect.
So that was the year Sugar Ray, Smash Mouth, Uncle Cracker, Blues Traveler.
Well, that's a good one.
They were
That's
going
a time.
They were going to Kansas City. Like all four of them were traveling. Like everybody could relive their 90s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Loverboy. Do you think they played Working for the Weekend?
They had to.
They better have.
Do you think they did it first or last?
Oh, last.
Who would you guys agree out of that foursome of Blues Traveler, Sugar Ray, Smash Mouth, Uncle Cracker, that as far as at least the music part in the band, the Blues Traveler actually had a little bit more staying power? Because I'm pretty sure Sugar Ray, other than his Mark McGrath solo career, didn't do anything other than that first album. Smash Mouth, Uncle Cracker, hell, they might have had 2 songs, let alone more than 1 album.
Yeah,
No,
I'd
no,
say.
no, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Blues
No.
Traveler's the money out of that.
No. Smash Mouth.
No. Smash Mouth.
All Star, Walking on the Sun.
Yeah,
I'm
that-
a Believer. Why can't we be
Yeah.
friends?
Nope.
Can't get enough of you.
Oh.
Pacific Coast Party. Play it, Jimmy.
Oh, God.
Then the morning comes.
Please.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Hey,
I
you
like
know
that
what?
one.
You know what you need in your life? You need an everyday superhero.
I'm pretty sure most of the songs you rattled off were all on the same album.
So
That means
That's what I'm
it was a
saying.
good.
They never went. That's why my point is I don't think any of them went beyond like a 1 album.
Come on.
I'm almost positive the ones you just rattled off were all in the same one.
Okay, your take here is so insane.
Smash Mouth was.
Are you stoned?
Not yet.
You definitely have some fallen horses. I checked your noggin.
What about Uncle Cracker?
Still being played. You're getting paid.
Smash Mouth actually performed at one of the CWS opening ceremonies.
I'm in place.
I'm just telling you. Those artists, with the exception of OAR, because they've put out multiple albums. I don't even know if they've gone beyond 2. But Smash Mouth they're a 1 album wonder. Not a 1 hit. There's a category of a 1 hit wonder.
Slandering Uncle Cracker as well.
Very
This
good
is
album.
the time of the year where Uncle Cracker is on your radio.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that's like the song I played yesterday. What
That
was
is true.
I don't remember. It fits in the tantrum.
Yeah, don't worry, Uncle Cracker's very cool.
Now, Matthew Schaefer, as he's known to his friend, he does not have this music.
Yeah, that I would agree. No, Smash Mouth's first album had a lot, and then they had a couple of remixes. But Jimmy, did they go beyond
Jimmy,
a couple
is
of years?
Is this right in the lines of Hush Puppies and everything? I mean,
After Lounge is a pretty damn good album.
I would
Hey,
love to know.
Stop eating and listening to music. Stick to sports.
You know what?
Your sports takes are a lot better.
I would love to know a diehard Smash Mouth. Oh, I love them. Celebrate their entire catalog, like Michael Bolton, like
951 1620.
like the Cubs do. Is there a true blue Smash Mouth fan that exists? I can say, yeah, beyond the first album, look on their Twitter right now. They did some awesome stuff. No, they didn't. Like Blues Traveler had some really good things going on, and they were, I would say, almost a decade of relevance. Where I can't say the same about Smash Mouth and Uncle Cracker. Even Sugar Ray, when he decided, you know what, I'm gonna go do the more mainstream thing. This alternative rock is a little too heavy for me. His solo career, I believe, was way better than Smash Mouth. And I don't like Mark McGrath. I do not like Mark McGrath.
So, to be fair, I'll give you a little. Smash Mouth kind of has run through a little bit of an issue.
What kind of an issue?
Well, lead singer was this 2 years ago? It was a music festival in New York. Was drunk, and then he was threatening people in the audience.
That's not nice.
And then he threw up a Nazi salute.
That's very not
So
nice.
if you're gonna have a hat trick, probably maybe leave off the last part.
Cut him off.
Maybe just cut your losses and just go with a 2 goal night and call it a victory.
I feel like he and Scott Stappney do a music festival talking on guys that have sort of fallen from grace when they were peaking. The Scott Stapp, the many drunken stories of either him performing or just randomly fighting other bands in like lobby
He
bars.
was both torn and filthy.
Yep. There's some good Scott Stapp stories out there too.
Never recovered after playing Thanksgiving '01 at Texas Stadium.
Oh yes, when he was like Messiah. He had his hands out. Oh yes.
You can go and see Smash Mouth at the World Chicken Festival in London, Kentucky on September 23rd.
That sounds about right.
Oh, that's awesome on so many levels.
That sounds about right.
We're going to London? You bet. London, Kentucky.
So even better,
the Bourbon Fest was booked.
I don't know if you guys have ever been to Summerfest in Milwaukee, which is
I never have.
Great. They will be performing there next week.
Smash Mouth?
They also be doing a feel-good concert in L.A.
What's UK up to? I don't know. Does Uncle Cracker's friends call
Oh,
him?
I thought you meant the United
Yeah,
Kingdom. I was like, hell, I don't know.
What's old Unc Cracker doing these days?
They're performing with Spin Doctors.
Who is Uncle Cracker or Smash Mouth?
Smash Mouth. Oh,
Spin
all of a sudden
Doctors.
your
Okay.
opinion has changed.
Now,
of Smash
now
Mouth.
Spin Doctors.
Yeah.
Still no. Spin Doctors is some great
They're
hits
also
from
gonna
that
be-
album, but
They're also going to be at the Eclipse Festival.
I always thought the
Spin
singer,
Doctors is good summer music.
I always thought the singer of Spin Doctors looked like Lexi Lawless. Look him up.
It
I swear
might
he
be.
did. It could be. He might have decided to go like a musical route, and then now he's back into commentating, at least for the World Cup. See, doesn't he kind of?
Hey, when
bit.
you perform at the Eclipse Festival, do you have to wear the glasses?
Yes, you should.
Absolutely.
It should be a requirement. Yeah.
Just checking.
All
right.
Less than a year away from the next eclipse.
The Eclipse Festival. Now, did they, when we had it here, the big deal here, well, I guess you got more in central Nebraska. Did they have big concerts going on? Like, was there a music festival that day? There should have been. Wow, how long ago was that?
17, I believe.
Okay, that sounds right. All I know is
And the next one's April 8th.
I know Bill Nye the Science Guy was in Nebraska.
And it goes right over San Antonio. So I guess I'll be taking off that day to go home.
Dirks Bentley.
I like Dirks
Andrew
Bentley.
says performed at the CWS in the early 2000s. He's one of the hotter acts.
Yeah.
Gold.
Oh, there have been some decent acts that have performed there.
I'm just trying to defend the world out there that is Smash Mouth.
I don't know if there's really much to defend, though. You know what they had. They still cling to it. You still hear it
Bangers.
every now and then, and that's fine. You know what? I can sit there and criticize them all they want. They're more well off than I'll, hopefully never be. Because I don't know. Sometimes you tinkle that money away. I don't know.
I'll take the money and pay off
I'll just
bills.
say they're still getting royalties, which is good. Good for them.
Channel 3 Sean. I see I got John Popper in my head. Aren't Smash Mouth, Blues Traveler, and Uncle Cracker all the same people? Has anyone seen them together? It's crazy. It's crazy. At the end of the night, they come out and they all perform at the same time.
It's a good take, actually. No, don't put John Popper in that category. He did more. He did more with his music and his career. Fair question, though.
Like when they come up with who's going to be performing at Memorial Park, like what if I was sitting there and I said, Travis Scott might be a guy you'd want to get? What do you think the reaction would be? Well, do you think they'd pass me the list of previous performers at the Memorial Park concert? They're like,
they wouldn't even say a word. They'd be
they're
like,
like-
here's what we've gotten.
They'll be like, Gary, I know you're a big fan of Travis Scott. Where would Travis Scott fit on this list?
Yeah.
And I'd said he would be the best that has ever performed here.
Yeah, it's not what we're looking for. Yeah, we're not looking to outdo.
He's from Houston,
last
right?
year's show.
Hey, also,
I believe so.
Yeah,
he also,
tie it all together.
They'll be like,
it's a recruiting thing.
What do you want a repeat of that concert that he? Oh, I'm gonna say he just got cleared. Hour in the books. For everybody that's going, man,
A great segment.
hey, dude, this is gonna be a Woodstock. It's gonna be muddy. I hope people are sliding down the hill. I hope people that like are my age, like just relive their youth. Okay, let's just get naked in Memorial Park.
But
let's grab some cardboards, pretend like it's the middle of the winter and you're sliding at Memorial Park.
Yeah.
Just slide down the hill.
What kind of drugs are going to be used then?
Painkillers.
You can't.
Tylenol.
You can't bring up Woodstock without the assortment of drugs.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about the demographic.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Ibuprofen. Back's killing me.
that's actually true. Maybe some antacids, not acid. Just antacids. Yeah. I like you encouraging the Woodstock feel. But
This will be a Everybody Love Everybody concert. Melissa Etheridge puts on a good show.
She does.
Everybody Love Everybody.
It would be that type of music. You're right. Actually, the act itself would be, I think, very conducive to a Woodstock environment, not 99 Woodstock.
If you're upset that COVID canceled the home run derby for your fireworks downtown, go to Memorial Park tonight and let it all out. You're going to have like a lot of people like 3-4 day weekend.
Yeah,
just get after it tonight. But just be advised that it's not going to be dry.
No, and I think
it's not going to be raining for the concert, so you don't have to worry about that.
Is it not? Okay,
but it's going to be a little damage.
I didn't know if it was supposed to rain tonight or not.
It won't dry out much, but yeah, it'll be a nice day.
Well, especially like by the stage too, that area.
Once again, you're talking about fearmonger when you got here.
The water,
She'll be talking about slipping out there and possibly breaking a hip.
Brian says, I'm guessing the couple from outside the CWS will be at Memorial Park tonight.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah,
round 2.
Where do you think they would go by the statue? Just kind of make their own creation of the statue. This is what it should have been. Are people really up in arms about that, by the way?
No, I think it's brought joy to a lot of people.
No. I'm not talking. I'm not talking about the video.
I believe there's a lot of jealousy.
I'm talking about this
Ed Orgeron outside of Zesto.
Gin Blossoms.
Morning.
No, I'm talking about the statue. Is that really causing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You gotta. So people write into the. I read the public polls because I'm always afraid that it's gonna be somebody I know. Yeah, like people complain about that. The statue of what it does to women, and it was an unwanted kiss. We should have just stayed in the war. Would have never happened. All right, 701. All right, people bitch about everything.
Right.
Okay?
We covered that yesterday.
My
dad taught me that.
I mean,
I don't know if you were just assuming that people had a problem with it, but you've actually seen
people have a problem with everything now.
Some meat on that bone. Gosh, jeez, come on.
Some people are like Harden and Kyrie. They're always a mess. And I can't do anything for you, except at 5 o'clock today when the NBA free agency begins.
Yeah.
We will discuss because Harden and Irving will have, well, maybe a new home. I think one will, the other won't. We will dive into that. Mike Schaefer, Matt Verzal a little bit later, and maybe a live report from Memorial Park down the street from the station where it is pouring rain ahead of a concert tonight, where we can just have Woodstock 2023 in Omaha.
Peace and love.
Not the like the destruction. I'm not promoting that.
Yeah.
I'm promoting Everybody Love Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's allowed for one day in Omaha, apparently. But you're gonna be a little mud festival.
Yeah. The good news is you don't have to leave your car in the middle of the highway or anything like that. And there are at least enough places for you to get nourishment close by Memorial Park too. Unlike the Woodstock in the 70s. You didn't have a lot of that stuff. So I've been told. I didn't like that.
Woodstock 99 wasn't much better.
No, Woodstock 99 was. Let's just we don't. I don't think we should put that in the Woodstock conversation. That was its own thing.
All right, hour in the books. Mornings with Sharp and Handley, 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Live from the Host Coffee Studio. This is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have multiple accidents to report, starting with one that has the left lane blocked westbound along I-80 near 60th Street, and that's going to be backed up all the way to 50th, and you can expect delays of up to 5 minutes in that area. Then there's also an accident on the left shoulder of westbound I-80 at 84th Street. Then another accident along 72nd at Centennial Road, and an accident that has the left lane blocked along I-680 at 4th Street. Then there's more reports of accidents, one at 13th and William Street, and then another vehicle spun out southbound along the JFK at Chandler Road. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
You could win a trip to Nashville's iconic Ryman Auditorium for a private concert by Luke Combs and a chance at $500,000. Just enter non-winning Nebraska Lottery Luke Combs scratch tickets before August 1st. Scratch ticket top prize odds, 1 in 128,000.
July 15th, the Storm Chasers are paying tribute to the Omaha Rockets, a late 1940s Negro League baseball team. Featuring Omaha Rockets jerseys and hats, we will also highlight Omaha nonprofit and Black-owned businesses. Don't miss the celebration and education of Black history in Omaha, presented by PayPal and Union Pacific. Get tickets today at omahastormchasers.com.
Omaha Storm Chasers family. Everyone get on your feet, stir up the storm with family.
Attention homeowners, are you ready to unleash the power of savings? J-Tech Construction and Solar, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, has an exclusive offer. Purchase any 2 trades from our winning lineup of services: windows, doors, siding, roofs, gutters, and solar, and receive a 10% discount on your entire purchase. Click yourexteriorexperts.com to schedule your free consultation today. Double up on savings and save with J-Tech Construction and Solar, the official exterior experts of the Huskers. Click yourexteriorexperts.com.
Usually, to get a skybox view of a Nebraska football game, you need to be a drone, a hawk, or a fighter jet. But sitting in an actual skybox is a lot more comfortable. So, enter the Nebraska Lottery's Lucky for Life ticket snap. Until July 10th, buy a Lucky for Life ticket and enter for a chance to win Nebraska football skybox season tickets or other great ticket prizes. Sure, fighter jets are cool, but there's no legroom.
Lucky for Life top prize odds 1 in 30 million.
The Nebraska Lottery offers up a lot of fun with a variety of daily games like Nebraska Pick 3, 2x2, and My Day. How much fun, you ask? Think of it like riding a roller coaster. Sitting next to your favorite rock star. Or discovering a bunch of cash under your seat.
Yeah!
Sound fun? Then play today.
Nebraska Pick 3, 2x2, and My Day top prize odds vary by game.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620, The Zone.
We're in on this.
Yeah. Sugar Ray.
Elise writes in. She's got some intel on the ground of celebrities. I wouldn't consider this person a celebrity. He said, did you know that Alex Jones is back at the Cottonwood?
Alex Jones. Yeah, is that
not a sports guy?
No, but is that supposed to
InfoWars?
Oh.
So I think I know the story is, and this is not the first time that he has shown up at the Cottonwood over in the Blackstone. I think his wife is from Omaha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know why I mentioned that, because I don't think we need any Alex
performing?
Jones in our. His ass better be out raising some money. Pay the families of Sandy Hook. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, a question here. Mike says, good thing about the rain today, I don't have to say, oh, great, it's fireworks season. What you don't know, it's not going to rain all weekend.
Yeah.
So
Or all day.
Baghdad is coming to Omaha here in the next couple of days.
Oh, it was happening in our neighborhood at around 7:30 yesterday. 7:30, right? Smack dab daylight. We weren't even close to getting dark out there, and it was.
See, mine was
it
about
happening.
9:30.
Well, and do you guys ever wonder?
I was at Warner Park, and they have their big display on Monday. They have fireworks tonight. Jordy Ball's out there, by the way. There was somebody further down on 370 where you could see it from the press box out beyond right field.
Mm-hmm.
They were putting on a heck of a show for their neighborhood.
Yeah, okay. So that's exactly what I was going to bring up. Like the most random days leading up to the 4th of July, and even times of the evening where you're going to see a couple go off, in all kinds of directions, especially if you're like driving like on a 370, you get to see, as far as the eye can see. But then there are like these random neighborhood ones that it's not even dark out. It goes longer than 5 minutes. I always want to know, why now? Why?
Because why not?
Why this day? Is this just like because no one else is doing it? Like, don't you at least want nightfall? Like, it just a lot of the little like mini displays. It just confuses me sometimes. And that's not even like, it ticks me off. Like, I don't care if you bought them and you're going to shoot them off. That's fine. But I would think you at least want nightfall. And then like on a weekday before the holiday weekend even starts, like last night, actually, no, I take that back. It would have been Wednesday night, right before it got dark. There was a pretty long fireworks show going on somewhere kind of in our neck of the woods that I could hear it. And it wasn't even night out, and it was like on a Wednesday. Just very random to me. I don't understand the thought process there. I'd like to know more about it.
People love them to sell some fireworks in Omaha.
People like to blow stuff up.
We got a lot of firework stores. Crackle and Kirk's, Bolino, Tents Up. People like to shoot up fireworks in Omaha. That's the thing. We like our football, we like our food, and we like our fireworks.
Who wants to break some?
All in that order.
Have you heard from anybody who has bought the Scott Frost, the frost warning ones?
Oh, yeah. People went and bought it because they thought it was funny.
You should.
People have tweeted at us.
I still think it's funny that it's $16.31.
I think it's
a great deal.
Amazing. It's fantastic. I just want to know if they're cool compared to your, other options. Are they better than the snakes? Better than the smoke bombs? See, these are the things that I always remember when I was growing up.
Do you think, okay, so they're selling the frost fireworks, and it's not like it's this year. I've seen those for a couple of years, and it's $16.31, and that is what his record was at Nebraska. I didn't realize that until I stopped, and then I thought, wow, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But do you think when they're having when these firework tents in Omaha, they get towards the last day and they're on the 11th hour of sales and they start discounting stuff, or some of these places you can go into and you could start bargaining?
Oh, I bet you can. I bet you can do a little.
I'm like,
bargaining.
you know what? Hey, that missile that I can shoot a firework all the way to the moon, I'm not paying $50 for, but I only got 20. And the person behind the counter is like, oh yeah, I'll give you for 20.
I bet you can.
But do you think when they get to the end of the frost fireworks and they want to get rid of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Because let's be honest. Once Nebraska starts playing football in the fall, Matt Rule starts doing Matt Rule things. You're probably not going to see the frost fireworks. Do you think when they go to discount, they knock it down to $7.25 because that was his record in one score games?
It's a good one.
Yeah. I was going to go with maybe $4.08 after year one. You could take some various records at different stages or in different outcomes scenarios.
$7.25 is a great deal.
I think that.
I mean, $16.31 is good, but that's better.
That really would be good.
A couple of things here before we get to the update with Jimmy, and be curious to watch. So Mike Schaefer is going to walk on the show at 8:30 from his hotel room in Chicago. He's going to watch the Cubs play on the north side. I hope the air is better. I got NASCAR in Chicago this weekend,
mm-hmm.
and the Cubs and the Guardians play at Wrigley. Last game that mattered for the Guardians that they played at Wrigley.
I don't want to talk about.
Okay.
Well, actually, they did very well at Wrigley. They lost Game 5. That was it.
Yeah, that was the last game they played. That was
last game. Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't remember. 3 and 4, I think, got rained out, and they gave them to Cleveland.
4 is where I started puffing my chest out of bed and said, "Is this really going to happen?" And then We all know what happened.
Years later, you're still wondering.
So Shafe will join us, and he will be like fully hussed, and I think he will do some flexing on the On3 guys, the Rivals guys, because 24/7 is the first to bump Danny Kaelin to a 4-star. I imagine when they go through the cycle at Rivals or On3, they will reevaluate because of what Kaelin has done this past month, and he will be bumped across the board to a 4-star. But 24/7 was the first to turn him into a 4-star, and we'll see the reaction. Across the board, he will be a 4-star, which is a big deal. He's in 24/7, he is ranked as the number 15 quarterback in the country. And you already know Carter Nelson is highly ranked. So that's great for high school football in the state. Somebody else got a bump yesterday. Chuck Love, who has been, his dad used to be on Amy Williams' staff. Chuck Love is now a 4-star, and he's receiving all kinds of offers. Like his Power 5 offers are rolling in. Nebraska cannot be involved with him. So it's weird. You have somebody as talented as him is right in your backyard. Of all the basketball coaches in Nebraska that said, well, I just can't walk outside of my house at Firethorn and bump into a 4-star. There's a 4-star in Omaha. Nebraska can't pursue him. I noticed, and I know that Lincoln is a little bit behind us here in Omaha in terms of recruiting, but it's been wait till you start to see some of the football rosters. There have been a lot of change. Lincolnites are starting to get hip to what we do here in Omaha about recruiting and kids, school shopping.
The transfer portal.
I noticed Chuck Love is going to Northeast.
Hey, then. So, this is where the Lincoln part of this I need to be caught up to. Now, is it open enrollment there in Lincoln?
I don't know. All I know is that when I was there, the Alton Masons and the J.R. Edwards of the world didn't have to live anywhere near
where they were
particular
going.
Schools. Yeah. I mean,
and it would the same around the same time as Southeast, Northeast were the school.
Nobody could recruit as well in Lincoln as Rick Kalora.
Right.
I mean, Rick Kalora was a recruiting machine.
Yeah.
He was almost on par with Tom Osborne.
No, it's true.
And putting together those great Northeast teams in the 90s.
And so that's when I was going to high school. So it's funny how little we knew about that, though. We just assumed, especially it being in Lincoln, seemed like a completely another world. We just assumed, these guys were where they were supposed to be. Because the transferring or the quote recruiting, other than prep, because they could have the pick of the litter, and then when Scud eventually opened up, you could go, and it didn't really matter where you lived. We just assumed everybody lived where they were supposed to, and this recruiting thing wasn't going on. It wasn't until when I got to college when I kind of found out a little bit more about people oh yeah, they lived in Bellevue and they went here. And as far as Lincoln went, yeah, we just assumed everybody is where they're supposed to be. But then when OPS had the open enrollment, maybe I just never asked the question, but I always wondered, does Lincoln have that to some extent now with the amount of high schools that they have? Do they have open enrollment? So you can just, go wherever. You can go to, okay, who's going to give me the best opportunity for football? Who's going to give me the best opportunity for basketball? That I don't know. I'm really curious about that.
Well, the son is a really cool kid. So this is, he's number 53 in the country. Lincoln, Nebraska, 53 in the country. He's a really good basketball player, but a really good kid. I wonder if going to Northeast, I wonder if his dad will be on the staff at Northeast. There is, so last year was a pretty good year, down year for OPS in terms of boys high school basketball, good year for LPS. I'm not afraid to say it. I think in terms of the top level talent in high school boys basketball this upcoming year, Omaha, which used to be a gap between Omaha and Lincoln, there won't be much of a gap for the class of 24. Or the guys playing in 23, 24. They don't necessarily graduate in 24. There won't be as wide of a gap. And it might be almost close to even. But good on Chuck Love. He's 53rd in the country.
That's just awkward. And obviously, I get why they can't, but you have a guy that you can't even touch that is right there in your backyard because of what took place with.
And I don't think probably not. Can't isn't
but
probably the right word,
it's
but
just-
they've just chosen to not pursue Chuck because past history with his dad and the Nebraska athletic department.
It's very awkward. I mean, that's the best way to put it. It's just very, very awkward.
All right. We got an update with Jimmy. We got Mike Schaefer coming up a little bit later. More on an incredible month of June. Never have seen a month in Nebraska football recruiting like this. And I don't recall ever seeing a time where Nebraska is essentially done with the class of 2024. They got 22. I think they could go to 25. They could maybe stretch it to 26. They'll figure out the numbers on the back end, but they're essentially done a month ahead of camp. I've never seen it like this before. But it's a staff that reacted to the way recruiting works now. The recruiting calendar has been sped up in college football, and this staff, with an army of people, have reacted on how you have to play the game or you get left behind.
Yeah. And it's not like just putting numbers together to put numbers together to get up to into the 20s on this one too. I mean, you look at everything it's had everything like from this week, which was more of the impact players that could maybe have that earlier impact than what we saw the first week of the College World Series and that Sunday where you had 4 in a matter of 48 hours where you didn't have if you were looking at the offer list and you thought, okay, what's going on here? Why, this guy was also offered by Charlotte. But everything that kind of Matt Rule, and go back to something we talked about yesterday, that Matt Rule has talked about on how they want to go about recruiting. You've kind of seen a little bit of everything that he's talked about from the impact local guys continuing to stay true to the state of Texas and having another recent example of that yesterday. And then looking at guys that are maybe a little bit earlier in the process when it comes to their development, but there's something that they see athleticism-wise that they can work with. And it's got a little bit of everything where you can there's boxes being checked by this group, and it's a class right now that you kind of look at and say, okay, there's something there. You can see something that this could completely impact going forward. And in Matt Rule's first full recruiting cycle too, it's pretty impressive. So it's not just crap. We are behind. We just need to get numbers. We need to get to a certain number. We need to get to 22 or we need to get to 24 or 25. And you just start offering. Like there's obviously a method to this too. And we've talked about their evaluation process, whether they're kind of going off of the traditional means, meaning a lot of recruiting services, evaluations from that standpoint, but also their camps, what they're seeing, what they're evaluating, connections to high school coaches. I mean, it's been kind of impressive because it hasn't been that long. They have not been here that long to see them put this together. It's been kind of cool to see how it's come together. Again, we'll know in a couple of years how this turns out, but the way they put it together and the time that they have it's pretty impressive.
All right, Jimmy, time for an update.
All right, Storm Chasers had 9 extra base hits, got an outstanding start from lefty Ryan Yarbrough as they beat the I-Cubs 8-3 last night to get back even in that series. It continues tonight. They had home runs in the second inning to jump out in front. They've been playing a lot better lately and have been pretty hot. Yarbrough in Omaha on an injury rehab assignment went 4 2/3 inning, allowing a 2-run homer to Patrick Wisdom of the I-Cubs. He retired 12 of the last 13 batters he faced, striking out 9. They continue their series at 7:05 tonight. Weather should clear up, be very nice. It's Jordy Ball night. She's throwing the first pitch. I'm sure you can have your picture taken with her, like if she's Santa Claus. I don't know. They have fireworks, and they're doing a what-if night if they were the Omaha Cattlemen. So lots of stuff going on. And we had Barty on earlier in the week that talked as much about it. All-Star game lineups were released yesterday. Mike Trout will see a bunch of new faces surrounding him at the All-Star game in Seattle, July 11th. He was selected for his 11th appearance. 4 Texas Rangers were chosen by fans for the lineup. 9 first-time starters were picked by fans, including 3 Rangers, catcher Jonah Heim, shortstop Corey Seager, and rookie third baseman Josh Jung. Arizona rookie outfielder Corbin Carroll also was voted in, giving the starting lineups a pair of rookie position players for the 3rd time ever and the first time since 2008. In the NBA, we talked about him yesterday. Harrison Barnes agrees with the Sacramento Kings on a new 3-year, $54 million contract extension. The deal keeps him out of unrestricted free agency and secures one of the organization's most dependable and popular performers. He averaged 15 points during the Kings' run to the Western Conference playoffs, led by Coach of the Year Mike Brown. He shot 55% on 2-pointers, the second highest percentage of his career. And finally, James Harden exercises his $35.6 million option for next season, clearing the way for the 76ers and the 10-time All-Star bearded one to work together on finding a trade. The Sixers started making calls on Harden trades yesterday, and as it became clear that he wouldn't be declining the option and entering free agency. He could have negotiated a new deal with Philadelphia upon becoming a free agent, but he decided with president of basketball operations, Daryl Morey, his old friend, that they would start working on a way to move Harden less than 2 years after his arrival in February 2022 after a trade with the Brooklyn Nets. Among the teams expected to have interest in acquiring him are the Clippers, because that's just what they need, and the New York Knicks. The Sixers are under no obligation to trade him, but it appears his focus is on finding a new team for the third time since leaving the Houston Rockets in February 2021. The Sixers could have offered him 4 years, $213 million in free agency, but it was unlikely that they were going to set that much money on fire to make such a commitment to him.
All right, NBA free agency begins at 5.
Chaos.
Landing spot?
Houston.
Think he's going back to Houston?
Yeah.
I think he's going to the Clippers.
I think he's going to the Clippers as well.
Dumpster fire. Let's go. I'm for it.
Where I think Kyrie, his best fit is staying in Dallas.
And I think he will. I mean, they'll field calls, they'll look, but in the end, Dallas, they have to find a way to keep him because they gave up a lot to make that commitment to him. So they're kind of stuck with each other, but I think it's the best for Kyrie Irving to give it a year in Dallas, see how it goes.
How about KD, Kyrie, and Harden? In less than 2 years, 7 trade requests, public trade requests. That's not easy to do.
No.
But why? So I'm going to say, you guys fill in the blank here. And NBA free agency, it has the potential to be kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like Harden, Draymond Green, where he's going to end up.
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet, where he's going to end up. What happens with Miami and Lillard, top of a trade. But it might be boring. But Harden is the big one of like where he's going to go. You can fill in the sport, and there's 2 guys we've already mentioned fit this bill. I'm going to say always a mess blank. Might be a great player. Like Kyrie, you cannot deny his basketball ability. His last 20 games with the Mavs, he averaged 27 points.
He's good at basketball.
Harden puts up numbers and the efficiency of the pick and roll with Embiid, but he's not a championship player. But always a mess blank. Always drama around them. Give me an athlete.
James Harden.
And
Russell Westbrook.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Kyrie seems to be the same.
Yep.
And honestly, Kevin Durant. I mean, unfortunately, he's such a talent and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it's always something with him. Next year, if things don't go well with the Suns and maybe there's murmurs like he wants to get traded again, you're just never happy.
Well, and unfortunately early too right now. There's maybe a little bit more of a sample size that we need to see, but Ja Morant.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
different kind of drama, but it's drama.
It's different, but it's drama nonetheless.
Like if something were to come out today, not that I know anything.
It's the last thing that
again
an organization wants to deal with is, and the thing is, all these guys are talented. I mean, they're at the best of their game, but that unfortunately comes with them.
Watch Bruce Brown and the Lakers.
Kawhi Leonard also always drama. Not that I'm still bitter, but I'm just saying it's fact. It's still drama.
Is it always drama, or is it just the drama that he doesn't play consistently?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, you have his uncle kind of saying in 1 year, and then he's never healthy, never plays.
Yeah, I'd say the injury part is probably more of the frustration,
which is why they could say, well, maybe that's why they should sign Harden because they got to have somebody. You never know if your 2 guys
should
are
be back
play
at this time and he's not back, and then it creates frustration.
No.
See, that's one of the things that I don't really like to be overly critical on, because unless I'm in the meetings with doctors and the medical personnel of dealing with an injury like that, I'm not going to sit there and be like, you should be back. You should be back and playing right now. Because again, I don't, and most people who get all hot takey on that, they're not in those meetings. And sometimes,
and his body may just be falling apart.
Yeah.
It might just be he's cursed with some bad luck there.
Watching Derrick Rose kind of wither away.
That one's a sad one.
Was so frustrating. And he kind of had a very similar
he's become a
narrative around him of, well, he's not there for his team. He's not there for his team. How many ACLs do you have? You think about that whole narrative, and people just got so gung-ho on just ripping them.
Well, some people, their bodies
questioning
betray
their
them.
toughness.
Brandon
Exactly.
Roy.
Yeah,
his
and when you
knees.
question someone's toughness like that, when they're going through some type of medical issue and you just don't know the ins and outs of it, like that's just an area that I cannot get overly critical on unless I'm sitting there in the meeting with that guy and listening to what all the doctors are saying about what he can and can't do.
By the way, I agree with you. I do think free agency could be boring. I get excited every year, but
And so
we're going to be grasping
there may
at
not
straws.
be like moves that are significant implications. I mean, Lillard being traded, yes,
That's
but
the one
is
I watch.
Portland the best fit for him? It does. I don't think what they're assembling as a roster fits with his timeline. And he would look better in Miami.
You were saying about
Portland,
the Lakers, though?
Miami.
You were saying about the Lakers?
Bruce Brown.
Or Bruce Brown.
Yeah, okay.
No,
Be a
not,
great
not,
signing.
not Lillard. Yeah, Bruce Brown. So Bruce Brown earned some money during the playoffs, which is good. Everybody should get paid. Austin Reeves has earned some money.
Mm-hmm.
Lakers got to make a decision if, what they're going to pay Austin Reeves. I just don't, Chris Middleton, the Bucks could run it back with a couple of guys that they have key that are unrestricted free agents. I just don't see like significant implications. But I will tell you one of the sneaky, and this is like the world of, I don't always have to be the man. Harrison Barnes re-signing in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento, they were good last year.
Yep.
They got a taste of it.
Yeah.
They have a good roster.
They learned
They
a lot.
also have a lot of money. Two guys that went to the same high school. Tell me if I'm wrong on this. How I look at a Harrison Barnes and Doug McDermott career. Okay, so two guys that played at Ames High School. Harrison Barnes signed a 3-year, $54 million new deal with Sacramento. And Harrison Barnes has played for a few teams. But almost everywhere that Harrison Barnes has been, he has won.
Yep.
He has never been an all-star. He has never probably been the best player on the team that he is with, or even the second best player.
But a good glue guy. Good guy to have.
But he has now made in his NBA career $220 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at Doug McDermott. Doug McDermott has never been an all-star, has never been the best player or the second best player on the teams that he's been with. Now he hasn't won. He hasn't been on teams that have won as much as Harrison Barnes, but both of those guys, and I think Doug's career earnings in the NBA are what, $59 million.
I'd take it.
I think he's slated to make his last year was like $13 million. Yeah, we would take that. But here's something that a lot of people can learn that come out of the college game. Those two guys were in high school together, and we're now on a decade since. I mean, we're well over a decade since they were in high school. They have found a role in the NBA. Okay? They didn't try and be the number one or number two player. They knew where they could be good. They picked their spots. They found a role, and they both have done, Harrison Barnes better than Dougie Mack.
But have a nice long career.
But both are still playing in the NBA, and they're making money. And I wish more college players would look at this and go, you know what? I don't always have to be the one or the two guy or an NBA all-star. I can find a role, get on the right team, and I can have a nice NBA career. And maybe along the way, I get myself a ring.
Yep.
That sounds great. Sign me up. That would be a perfect career there.
In a way, it kind of reminds me of the journeyman backup quarterback, that when you leave college, you go into the NFL, you're not necessarily thinking about, hey, I'm going to be a backup and I'm going to love every bit of it. But I think reality sets in pretty quickly where you understand, this is going to be tough to overtake this guy. When you get drafted, okay, now they're bringing in this guy.
But you'll always have a job.
But exactly.
Nick Collison had a long career, now works in the Thunder front office. It's all set up he was a good locker room team guy.
Yeah.
Made good money too.
A guy here locally on the football front of it too, Sage Rosenfels, who ran into during the College World Series. There's a guy that made a nice little career, got a couple of starts, but for the most part, the majority of his career was
got
a
a
backup
Berman
quarterback.
nickname.
He did. And yet, made a very comfortable living. I think of Chase Daniel, another guy that it's insane how much money he has made where he has never gone into the season as anybody's starting quarterback. He's had to start some games. Yes. He's had to start some games. And I think if you understand that there is a place for you other than being the elite guy, I mean, life can be good. Absolutely. And the Harrison Barnes, I think, is a great example of that, because he's also not only made a nice little living, he's been an impact guy. When you think of some of those the Warrior teams, like he had games where he was a big part of it.
It's part of that machine.
Wouldn't say he was the big part of the entire season of why they did what they did, but in certain games, certain situations, his role was valuable.
That was a huge piece. Sacramento getting him, because there were some initial reports that he was going to look elsewhere. That's a good retaining.
They'll be good again next year, especially after getting the lesson in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, now people know who De'Aaron Fox is, and Sacramento will be, I'm going to say, on national TV a little bit more than one time.
I know about this beam now that they liked.
That's a fun venue right there.
When we come back, did Matt Rule lie to y'all? That's it. That's all I got, boys. On 1620 The Zone.
Hey, it's not a lie. It's Templeton Rye. See what I did there? Yeah. It rhymed. Templeton Rye, perfect for all of your get-togethers this summer, including the 4th of July weekend, whether you're still celebrating baseball during the summer. They've got their own all-star lineup, and that is a 4-year, 6-year, and a 10-year reserve. It is best enjoyed on its own in your favorite cocktail. Now, Templeton Rye Craft Whiskey is for the strong spirit with a strong community spirit. Small town, strong spirit. That is what Templeton Rye brings you on a daily basis. And one of the great things about it is, even though it is enjoyed by itself, you can also enjoy some fantastic cocktails, whether we're talking about the Templeton Old Fashioned, a Manhattan, a Templeton Sour, or the Iowa Mule. You can check out more recipes by going to TempletonDistillery.com. Speaking of the distillery, just a short drive outside of Omaha is where you can learn about a local legacy, the history, and what goes into the distillery exclusive releases. Visit the Templeton Distillery in Templeton, Iowa, just a short drive outside of Omaha. Templeton Rye Whiskey for the strong-spirited, available near you, best enjoyed on its own or in your favorite cocktail. Please drink responsibly. Templeton Rye Spirits, Templeton, Iowa, Rye Whiskey.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
And the size of that thing. Oh, massive. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's massive.
I thought I had a big mouth.
Yeah.
Apparently I don't. And they're taking it from all these different angles.
I know.
And
Can't
stuff.
you just do one X-ray and we move on with our day?
We landed a man on the moon using nothing more than a Commodore computer.
Yep.
And we haven't mastered the art of not having to stick that giant thing in your mouth to get an X-ray.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Thunderstorms this morning, a few of which may become severe with strong winds, hail, and isolated flash flooding. Otherwise, today, a 50% chance of thunderstorms, particularly this evening. Staying mostly cloudy with a high of 87, though feeling like the low 90s. A low tonight of 68, a 70% chance of storms, once again packing the potential for severe hail and wind. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We're still getting reports of that accident that has the left lane blocked westbound along I-80 at 60th Street. That's going to be backed up now all the way to 42nd Street, and you can expect delays of up to 5 minutes in that area. Then we're also still getting reports of that accident that has the left lane blocked along I-680 near Fort Street, so please be cautious if you're in that area as well. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for a little bit of a slowdown from 150th to the I-80 East and West ramps. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Everyone knows Saul's pays top dollar for your gold, but Saul's pays cash on the spot for your precious metals too. Silver, gold, platinum, coins, bars. Who wants to wait to get paid? Get to Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Saul's Jewelry and Loan. You'll find it all at Saul's Jewelry.
As long as I can remember, new Chevys could always be found at the corner of 112th and Dodge. And now that location is Woodhouse Chevy Omaha, a familiar sight to find new roads to your new Chevy Silverado. Save up to $6,000 off MSRP on the 2023 Silverado 1500. I've seen the huge selection, all with the features, styles, and colors you're looking for. Now you can too. Woodhouse Chevy, exit 75, I-29, Missouri Valley, and now 112th and Dodge in Omaha, or visit woodhouse.com. With approved credit, see dealer for details. Expire 6/30/23.
If baseball and ice cream go together like fireworks in the 4th of July, I mean, on any given night during the summer, you're bound to run into a team of little leaguers getting ice cream after their game. win or lose. So before you head home after the game, head over to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream and pick up your flavor. They serve more than 3,000 of them. Keep track of the daily specials on social media. Celebrating more than 35 years. Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Benson, Old Market, and at tedandwallys.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Parents, are you tired of helping put your kids' shoes on? They're squirming, watching cartoons, anything but helping. Luckily, it's Skechers to the rescue. Introducing new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you can just get your kids to step into and their shoes are on. You don't need to bend over. You don't need to sit on the floor and try to wrangle them on. And they're available in all types of Skechers styles with and without laces, and most are machine washable. Find Skechers Slip-ins for kids or mom and dad at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish shoes are sold.
Ever walk through a door and see all the trucks? Yeah, it's kind of like that at Gretna Auto Outlet. Half-ton trucks, three-quarter-ton trucks, dualies, gas or diesel. Gretna Auto Outlet will be happy to show it to you. They don't call it truck heaven for nothing, you know. Stop in the climate-controlled comfort of the indoor showroom or online with the virtual showroom at GretnaAuto.com. Gretna Auto Outlet, open Sundays too, just north of Nebraska Crossing on Highway 6 in Gretna.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, we also now are less than a month from Spence Crawford. Plan accordingly. Because here's what's going to happen. So we talked a lot about Nebraska football. The chatter has been about recruiting. Recruiting month is over. Now we get to July, and we start talking about the current team, the upcoming season. There'll be more articles written about Matt Rule. Pete Thamel has one behind the paywall on ESPN.com. He sat down with Matt Rule over multiple settings and has written a lengthy piece for the insiders of ESPN.com. So we will transition when we come back from our mini break. We'll start talking about the upcoming season, and we'll put recruiting to bed. Now, here's what I say about Matt Rule is there's a lot of the things, if you go back, and I highly recommend this while you're out mowing the lawn or you're sitting by the beach or you're at a cookout and everybody wants to communicate with you, you're like, nah, you know what? I'm going to listen to the Matt Rule 1 hour opening press conference in November. If you go back and you listen to that, there's a lot of things that he said then without knowing anybody on the roster or the landscape or where his favorite watering hole in Havelock was, which people are walking in there and they're like, is that Matt Rule? And they're like, yeah, that's Matt Rule. Everybody knows your name. There's a lot of things he said that are absolutely true. On June 30th. What was that? Was that like November 28th or something?
Yeah. It would be Monday after Thanksgiving.
So he's been here for a while. We've seen spring. He knows his roster. He's got a challenge ahead of him. People are excited about recruiting. There's the part of being aggressive, which they have been, of locking down the border. But the bottom line is they need some talent on this roster, in this football program. They don't have a dearth of talent on the 23 team. They have certain guys that are very good. They don't have a lot of depth of talent. There's going to be a couple of guys that, because it's a new coaching staff, new voice, they're going to all of a sudden show up and you're like, where's that guy been? But Nebraska still is trailing in terms of having the kind of talent to be competitive with the big boys, on where they want to go. And that's still a couple of years down the road. So you got to go out and accumulate talent. You not only got to go say, hey, man, we're recruiting, but you got to get some talent. And so, 23 is going to be, it's going to show up in certain areas. But everything he said about what they were going to do with the blueprint in November 28th is still true on June 30th. And I think about recruiting. I teased it. I said, has Matt Rule lied to you? No. What did he say back then? Or as he got more into the recruiting of finishing the 23 class, is we would like to be finished so then we can focus on field.
Yeah.
My God, you're not supposed to say that because you're always supposed to be recruiting, always be closing.
Yep.
Now, this staff does a really good job of always be closing. I don't know if you've ever been in sales, but they always say that to you is always be closing.
ABC.
Yeah. Always be closing.
Glengarry going Ross.
Put the prospects into the funnel, let it come out, and always be closing. This staff isn't always be closing. And they're more aggressive, I think, in pursuing prospects that they want and pulling the trigger early and also asking for the commitment. Hey, or hey, I'm going to give you a timeline. We got to move on if you're not going to say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not good enough for us to hold a spot for you, but we want you, but we're going to give you a timeline. If you don't meet that timeline, son, we got to move on. Thanks for the mems. Remember us when you're in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
So he said they would like to be finished essentially with recruiting so then they can focus on field. Huh? Not supposed to say that out loud. They've done exactly that. So now they can transition where the spots that they still have available in the 24 class, I think they already know who they're allocated for because I don't think there'll be anybody new that pops onto the radar that they go, huh? They've identified everybody that they want. And there's going to be some players out there that have Nebraska in their final schools. So, but they only have like 4 or 5 spots left. And maybe just 4. They said they'd be done. And now they can focus on the field. And so he didn't lie to you. So he hasn't lied to us yet. He's told us what he's going to do, and they've done exactly that. But I have never, finishing this month, and we'll get into more of this with Schaefer, Nick, I've never seen, following recruiting as long as I have from the Nebraska perspective, a month like this where they were aggressive, and they also transitioned from, we were shooting for the moon back in February. We're not going to get the Brandon Bakers, the Nate Fraziers, the Dylan Raiolas. We quickly transitioned. While working that funnel, we were working the other funnel to get to 22 on June 30th. It's pretty damn impressive when you think about it.
Yeah, it's impressive because, again, this goes back to what we wanted to see from this group, and that was the ability to communicate that whole plan and how they're going about doing that with all the recruits. I think the Dylan Raiola one was a perfect example of still being able to keep Danny Kaelin close to the situation in that open dialogue that obviously took place. Never kind of being salesy or disingenuous to him, but just being real. And I think it's been talked about. I was actually listening to JD Pickell talk about this on 24/7 Sports about just the authenticity of Matt Rule, which is kind of a breath of fresh air. It's not something that you always see in college football, especially for a guy who is in year one of a program that desperately is looking to kind of pick itself up.
Okay, so I saw that clip. I don't give that a time of day because you know what? There's a lot of guys that are genuine, that recruited, that were not. I mean, they gave off Manny Diaz recruited pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw the same clip you did. He's real and he keeps it real, but I mean, there's other coaches that have been the same thing, and they've turned out to not be very good coaches, and they're slimy. Okay?
Sure.
Okay. I think his is, all right, we got a plan. I'm more on, we got a plan when we're recruiting.
And that's kind
I
of
think he used the word genuine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coaches that have been genuine that are crap.
Well, what I would say, and where I would have agreed with JD and other people that have watched us, even especially here locally, is that there has been sort of structure to this process where you're not all of a sudden having to pivot and kind of with your hands out saying, okay, any ideas, guys? What should we do now? It always just seemed like they have a backup to the backup of each plan, which that shows me this is structured. This is it kind of going back to the things that you talked about of what makes it easy to be successful in Nebraska and having that plan, sticking to that plan, doing it smarter, doing it harder, and understanding. Am I paraphrasing that?
No. I like that. I like what you just said.
Okay. But understanding that we've got a time frame, we've got what we've talked about back in November 28th of really having to focus on this group and making this current group that we're going to be going to competition with in 2023 as good as we possibly can without ignoring recruiting, because this is going to be the first core group that we're going to develop when we get here as a coaching staff. So despite I wouldn't even call them major losses, because I don't know if anybody really thought like, oh, not getting Dylan Raiola was a major loss, because look what you ended up being able to pivot to. But it wasn't like, oh, that just kind of fell into your lap. There was a process there to be able to sort of pivot with purpose, if you will, if that makes sense, and understanding the areas that you needed to build on locally, but also finding areas like we just talked about Carlin Jones yesterday, needing interior defensive linemen, going after those guys, but also having that ability to see guys maybe a little bit earlier in their development process that you feel are going to work into your system. So it was multifaceted, and you always felt like that's what they were always going to do from the get-go. I just feel like the way that they have kind of stuck to that structure that they have, working their tails off in this month. There's your working harder element of that, but also smarter, because you understand what not necessarily a guy is, best available type of prospect you're going to get throughout the country, but what you need both locally with the guys that are available locally, and understanding that these are guys that are going to come in and help impact it, but you're also in the process being able to build those relationships up with those coaches in this state, in this high school state, that understand what's real and what's not. And that pipeline that now opens back up, that maybe didn't really lead to a lot of good results in the past couple of years with that relationship, now that's back open. So you've crossed so many things off on the list, in my opinion, in just a short period of time. And then now you're right back on schedule where, okay, this current group we have, this recruiting was cool. They're not here yet. This current group we have, we got to make sure we're on top of that, and we are squeezing every amount of talent and success that we can out of that. Whatever that looks like from a number standpoint, whether that's 6, 7, 5, whatever it is, we got to squeeze as much out as we can. So now it's time to get to work with that. It's stayed on a timeline, and it's from what I understand, it's sticking to that plan, and they've worked their tails off in doing so. Those are great things to see early on from a coaching staff.
I agree. That's Nick. Jimmy's here as well. Mike Schaefer, more on what just happened in the month of June, and then what happens moving forward with those few spots that are out there. The other part of this whole discussion about finishing your class like it is, and you'll sit back and hope guys follow through and they have good senior years. Also, the impact of rule and getting on guys early before they're discovered by other programs that go, why did Nebraska offer him? Oh, let's offer him. What will be the flip rate, if at all, in the 24 class? Because guys that committed early to Nebraska to grab a spot, they show up and show out, and then all of a sudden an offer above Nebraska comes. That's the thing to watch. But they'll be able to start working on 25. You will have more on-campus game day visitors that are 25s and 26s than you will 24s. When was the last time that happened? Shafe's coming up in the next hour. Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, it's hard to beat the allure of a new vehicle, and with Woodhouse Buick GMC, they make buying your next car simple and easy. They've got the climate-controlled indoor showroom that is open right now with rain in the area. You don't have to worry about being out on the lot and wearing a poncho or an umbrella. Go to 119th and I. You'll see a full array of high-quality new and pre-owned vehicles. Now, they've got a great sales team. I'm at the end of my lease, so I'm looking for my next vehicle, and their dedicated sales team has answered a lot of my questions on what am I going to do in terms of finance? What am I going to do in terms of the vehicle that I want, upgrading from a Rogue? Well, Woodhouse Buick GMC has shown me that they have something for everyone. You want that stylish SUV with a safety feature, cargo room, infotainment. They got it. You need a truck for business or pleasure? Check. I know. For my current vehicle, search competitive pricing, wide selection. It's going to help me make the right decision. Woodhouse Buick GMC can do the same for you. 119th and I, or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. And as friends and family say, GMC, we are professional grade.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Ever walk through a door and see all the trucks? Yeah, it's kind of like that at Gretna Auto Outlet. Half-ton trucks, three-quarter-ton trucks, dualies, gas or diesel. Gretna Auto Outlet will be happy to show it to you. They don't call it truck heaven for nothing, you know. Stop in the climate-controlled comfort of the indoor showroom or online with the virtual showroom at GretnaAuto.com. Gretna Auto Outlet, open Sundays too, just north of Nebraska Crossing on Highway 6 in Gretna.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aww. He just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Don't miss July 4th savings now at Lowe's. Save up to an additional $1,000 on select major kitchen appliances. Plus, save up to $3,800 on select 4-piece Samsung kitchen suites. And save on your choice of a DeWalt 20-volt max brushless drill kit or impact driver kit. Just $99 each for a limited time. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 7/5. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Does it seem like it's been over a week since the LSU Wake Forest incredible game? It was a week ago last night.
Feels like a while ago. I don't feel like it was just yesterday. I feel like
longer?
Like the whole CWS, once it ends, especially this year, because it was such an odd finish of the back-to-back blowouts, but definitely doesn't feel like it was just a week ago, to answer your question in a roundabout way.
The Wake Forest fans are attacking LSU baseball players. There's another story. It's another day. It's another story. Continues to add to the part of the College World Series being the greatest ever because of LSU. It was revealed yesterday, the founder of Raising Cane's, LSU guy.
Mm-hmm.
When you win a championship, you get to go and work at Raising Cane's for a day. I saw it with the Chiefs when who won the Nuggets. So a couple of Nuggets went and worked at Raising Cane's. Stetson Bennett went and worked at Raising Cane's. The LSU baseball players went and worked at Raising Cane's. And I saw the picture. No one can convince me that Paul Skeens is not 6'6". He's taller than 6'6". I mean, I'm not 6'6". You're much taller than I am.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look 6'6". He looks larger. Seeing him up close, he looks larger than 6'6". And there's a picture that's circulating of all of them wearing their Raising Cane's gear.
Yeah.
And he just dwarfs his teammates.
Yeah, Connor took a picture that Saturday night when I was doing the on-field, so that would have been the first Tennessee LSU game, and did like a low-angle shot to give it like some scale just to show how much larger of a human being he is than anybody else that was in that shot. And yeah, I'm close to 6'3" and just a shade under 6'3". I did feel like he was towering over me. But I don't know if I was more impressed with just the mass of the individual himself. I mean, if you're 6'4" or greater and you're sitting there about 240, 250, you look like you're 6'8", 6'9". I mean, you're just a large human being.
Josh, that's who I was trying to think of. The Vegas Golden Knights worked at Canes.
Okay.
Creighton men's basketball, you want to work at Canes? Win the national championship. Yeah. And we'll see you down the street here on Dodge. But there is another story that's being told. So there's all kinds of stories about LSU players and the fans that were here. Now, there are more stories coming out about what happened after the Monday night, how they celebrated. Like, LSU players got after it in our establishments.
As well,
whether they were serving Jell-O shots or not. We can't tell anybody, but there's stories. And they should. Man, I would celebrate my.
Yep.
But Trey Morgan yesterday told a story about that game a week ago that a DoorDash person right here in Omaha drove up to the hotel. LSU was staying at the Hilton, was in the lobby. Thatcher Hurd was pitching. He came down and was going down to get his DoorDash order. You know, he ordered some pregame meal. And the DoorDash driver, who now we need to find out who this is here in Omaha, said, here's your order. And it had Rhett L on the bag. And so Thatcher Hurd took it. It was the DoorDash order for Rhett Lauder, who later that night would pitch for Wake Forest. Now Hurd, of course.
And did just fine.
Yeah. It did not affect him.
Yeah.
But the Wake Forest fans, after hearing Trey Morgan tell this story, that it was he stole Rhett Lauder's pregame meal. Okay, what program, their pregame meal is guys ordering from DoorDash.
Right.
Yeah. It's college kids that are hungry. They order from DoorDash. They have a set pregame meal.
Yeah.
But the Wake Forest fans have attacked LSU, calling them classless. It made no difference. Okay.
They have a very good pregame meal.
Rhett
I've been to them.
Rhett Lauder was fine.
Yeah.
But I do like the funniness of Thatcher Hurd knowing that when the DoorDash driver walking into the Hilton in downtown Omaha goes, is this your order?
You're like,
and he goes,
yep.
He goes, oh yeah, for
Yeah.
Rhett L. Yeah,
I'll take it to him.
So apparently Hurd and Lauder ordered like identically at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they order the same thing?
That's what I want to know.
I
What
don't
they
know.
get?
I wanna know what they got.
Like we maybe somebody knows the DoorDash driver last Thursday that delivered to the Hilton.
Yeah.
And Thatcher Hurd stole Rhett Lauder's DoorDash order.
How classless can you be?
Now, did Rhett Lauder get Thatcher Hurd's order? We don't know
Probably.
that part of the story.
I can't wait for the 30 for 30.
According to probably Wake Forest fans, no, Rhett was classy enough to say, oh, this isn't my order. I'll wait for mine. I would like to give this to somebody else. I think that I'll let Thatcher come and get his meal because that's the classy way to do it.
You open the bag, you see what it is. Like, nah, this isn't mine. Can you do that?
I ate the pizza. Oh, we could have had a pizza incident. We could have had a flu game. Yeah, Rhett Lauder showed no ill effects of either being hungry or getting the wrong meal. He just so happened to be going
just
up
spin
against
it.
another
Was Rhett Lauder
amazing-
starving? Did his blood sugar get low?
Yeah.
Did it taint the championship? Just go all of
that's what
go
if that's
get
what
bonkers.
if that's what having a low blood sugar and being hungry and having it affecting type of performance looks like, I'll take that every day of the week because you wouldn't have known. Unfortunately, Paul Skeens was just as good.
Well, that was the only win that LSU had against Rhett Lauder was Thatcher Hurd stealing his DoorDash order because they did not score off of him in 7 innings. All right, let's sneak Chris in here, who might have been at the Canes when the Golden Knights stopped by after celebrating the Stanley Cup championship. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. Yeah, I was going to say when they somewhat sobered up, they Carlson was at Raising Cane's for a couple hours, serving people, surprising everybody at the drive. It was amazing. This town's still celebrating. I'm telling you that.
That's awesome. That's great. Hey, how is baseball going to go over?
Oh, it's a mixed bag. A lot of people aren't too happy about it, actually. location and then the size and everything.
The length of the season.
It's gonna be the smallest arena. I mean, smallest stadium.
Yeah.
And then what's going to guarantee that owner is going to spend money on that team?
That's.
I don't think Vegas is going to support it that much.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, you'll get fans from other teams when they come into town to go see it, the hotels, but that's not going to sustain it.
Yeah.
Location. You guys have been on the Strip.
Yep. Right there, where the Tropicana is.
Yeah, locals aren't going to like. I mean, they don't like it.
I think this is going to be when Bryce Harper goes, I'm not so sure. And he's the Las Vegas guy in the majors, and he knows that town. Yeah, I think that says a lot. I'm with you, Chris. I think it's going to be a mixed bag. I don't.
Well, a couple years ago, Henderson tried to get the Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to put it where the Raiders practice facilities out on the southwest part of town, out there near I-15 in Henderson here. And that would have been prime location because you had several freeways and access to it and the land. This you don't.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to watch. Chris, thanks for the call. Thanks for listening as always.
Take care. Have a safe 4th.
Yeah, you too. On that note, John Sherman yesterday, when he was talking about the future of the Royals, like their stadium, he made a really interesting comment about the future of baseball in Kansas City, that they need this stadium. Does that mean the Royals would ever be in danger of moving out of Kansas City if they don't get their 2 locations that they desire in the marketplace and in North Kansas City?
That's how it starts.
Didn't it? He made just kind of a quick little comment, and I thought, all right, maybe we should pay more attention to this. That just seems to be.
That's going to go over well.
I want to know, when will you be contenders? He wanted to tell everybody, when will we be in a new ballpark?
Yeah. Chris actually brings up a really interesting point of the inability to spend money. I mean, we know the A's notoriously. That's why a lot of people kind of fell in love with the runs that they had in the postseason, because they were doing so on such a fixed budget. If you all of a sudden become an open pocketbook, think about all of the blows that the Oakland community and the Oakland A's fans are taking with this whole thing. All of a sudden, you get an owner to decide to spend money. Oh, man, that would piss me off.
He will, because
you have to.
He's in a new place, and they need to be a contender, and need to put butts in seats.
Because you think of some of those teams that just came up short here recently, that if they just had maybe 1 or 2 extra guys, and what that could have meant to those rosters, and now you're going to be more willing to spend. And I'm with you. I think you have to. That's just. I mean, it's just kind of a lot of the twisting of the knife for Oakland A's fans.
There would be more enthusiasm for an expansion baseball team in Vegas than getting somebody else's team.
Yep, because it'd be their own.
And there
with that kind of owner.
And there clearly would be more excitement for an NBA team than there would be for a Major League Baseball team in Vegas.
Which I think is coming.
All right, we got another update with Jimmy. We got Mike Schaefer coming up in the next hour of Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, get out to Woodhouse Mazda. The 2023 Mazda CX-5 is going to be the one you want to check out. Hey, first of all, it's the car that I drive. That's not why you need to get it. But I can tell you firsthand, it is perfect for all kinds of summer adventures. Just took it to Chicago with me last week, and going to be part of a lot more summer travel. And even if you're just getting from home to work, one of the great things about all of the Mazda CUVs, but especially the CX-5, is the modern infotainment system. Whether you're a podcast guy, a radio guy, or you just like playing your music list, they've got that on that full colored display, which makes it easy to navigate with GPS as well, but also the safety features and the comfort that come with the Mazda CX-5 with those Napa leather trim seats. It makes the ride extremely enjoyable. That's why one of the many reasons I love the Mazda CX-5. And right now, you can lease a 2023 Mazda CX-5 for $375 per month for 36 months, 10,000 miles per year with approved credit, tax, title, license extra, $2,500 down. First payment at $299. Doc fee due at signing. Stock number MM230287. Offer expires 6/30/2023. See dealer for full details. And again, stop into Woodhouse Mazda. They're in 2 locations, out in Bellevue and then Woodhouse Place Mazda out in West Omaha, 144th and Giles. And you can also make the sales process extremely easy and convenient by going to woodhousemazda.com or woodhouseplacemazda.com, where you can check inventory, you can schedule a test drive, you can even get your deal started online. It is that simple. Check it out at Woodhouse Mazda, a drive worth experiencing.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center, we have one accident to report that has the left lane blocked northbound along the JFK near exit 452, and that's going to be backed up all the way to F Street, and you can expect delays of up to 5 minutes in that area. Then we're also getting reports of a vehicle that spun out northbound along the JFK near Gilmore Avenue, so please be cautious if you're in that area as well. Then on L Street, be prepared for a bit of a slowdown near 90th Street. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
Does great pay, fully funded medical benefits, and a solid retirement sound good to you? IBEW has immediate openings for electricians. Invest in yourself with IBEW Local 22. Call 402-810-0789 or visit IBEW22.org today.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
We're celebrating 4th of July early at 42 Degrees with deals so low you'll declare your independence from big box stores. Get our premium kratom starting at only $9.99, CBD from just $8.99, or candles from just $5.99. Light up with an awesome pipe at 42 Degrees. Choose from a great selection of glass, silicone, wood, or metal with a smoke-in price as low as $12.99, and with the most knowledgeable, friendly, and professional staff anywhere. 42 Degrees. By your mom's house.
It's all too obvious. We're being distracted by meaningless news headlines. When you dig to find the truth, you discover that the American way of life is being threatened by the institutions we used to trust. It's easy to see the future holds more food shortages, systematic controls, and government overreach. But instead of throwing up their hands, folks are preparing. They're taking steps to be self-reliant and investing in emergency food storage. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, makes it easy to get started and join the ranks with this limited time offer. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and get their top-selling 4-week emergency food kit. Enjoy tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get new lower pricing this week on these 4-week emergency food kits. Secure at least one food kit for each member of your family. They ship free, too. Those who know what's coming are preparing. Smart folks. Go to mypatriotsupply.com right now. mypatriotsupply.com.
As long as I can remember, new Chevys could always be found at the corner of 112th and Dodge. And now that location is Woodhouse Chevy Omaha, a familiar sight to find new roads to your new Chevy Silverado. Save up to $6,000 off MSRP on the 2023 Silverado 1500. I've seen the huge selection, all with the features, styles, and colors you're looking for. Now you can too. Woodhouse Chevy, exit 75, I-29, Missouri Valley, and now 112th and Dodge in Omaha, or visit woodhouse.com. With approved credit, see dealer for details. Expire 6/30/23.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Halftime brought to you by Heart Cigars and Pipes Lounge just off 680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's. It's Heart Cigars and Pipes Lounge.
We're going to take you into the holiday weekend. Crank it up. A little Van Halen. Light them sparklers.
And it's the David Lee Roth Van Halen.
Oh, of course.
It's not Van
This
Hagar.
is the OG.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate sports weekend of the summer. You betcha. Wimbledon is getting underway. Joey Chestnut, 15-time world champion, gonna defend his title on July 4th in the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. You don't know how the hot dogs are made, and you don't want to know, but you want to know how they're eaten. And Jaws is back. Also, the best part of the weekend. Guess what tomorrow is? Bobby Bonilla Day.
It is. Yes. For the 13th consecutive year with 12 more to go, friends and family. Yes. The Mets will cut a check for a lot of money.
Greatest contract ever.
1
For Bobby.
point. Well, here's how it all breaks down. Tomorrow, the Mets will cut a check to the 60-year-old Bobby Bonilla, who has not played a game since 2001. $1,193,248.20. We are on Bobby Bonilla Day Eve. Celebrate kindly. Make sure that you stick it to your employer and you get paid on the back end. If there's anything to learn, isn't Ken Griffey Jr. like the fourth highest paid Red right now?
I think so. Third or fourth. Pretty good in itself.
Hey, boys and girls out there, when you grow up and you become an adult, get a good agent.
Yeah. All right, welcome back in. Halfway through,
That's the moral.
We go on a little mini vacation. We won't be back until Wednesday. So play well with each other. Enjoy the mini break as we're halfway through the year. Also, tomorrow you can celebrate. It is the 12th anniversary of the day that Nebraska officially went into the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah.
So next
Remember
year,
that day.
on July 1, we will have USC and UCLA Day.
Mhm.
I think the Big Ten Network probably will have a day devoted to USC and UCLA programming.
Yep. See a lot of great moments. A lot of great moments in the football lore of both programs and real athletics. We just want to pigeonhole it to football, but those are the days.
The Joey Chestnut odds minus 4,000.
So is Kobayashi still a part of this, or is he?
Oh, he got canceled.
He's long
walked
gone.
away. We kicked him out of the country.
Kobayashi just fallen from grace like that.
He hasn't been involved in a while.
Yeah.
Since about the time that Bobby Bonilla Day started.
Would that be a good a second chance story? We all like second chances. We all like the rebound. Would Kobayashi getting back into the Nathan's hot dog eating ring or the competitive eating ring where he puts up a fight against Jaws, would that be the comeback story that we all seem to embrace as Americans?
I think that ship sailed a long time
Did it?
ago.
Yeah. I think he's
Yeah.
Joey Chestnut is minus 4,000.
It would go like Creed v. Drago.
You're saying Joey Chestnut would be Drago.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
He's a wagon.
I mean, he's showing no signs of slowing down.
You talk about dynasties, and you talked about Alabama football. Like Georgia's kind of creeped in. When you think about Joey Chestnut,
Jaws.
Poll question: is he slipping? He only ate 63 hot dogs last year.
So is he Alabama?
Or is he just kind of playing to the competition? He's like, you know what? I've already broke the records. Now I'm just in this thing to win.
Did COVID impact Joey Chestnut's jaw?
It could have. Yeah. How did he spend?
Bring that up at your cookouts
How did he
this weekend.
spend his preparation in the COVID year compared to normal years?
He got fat.
He might have. It's possible.
Relatable.
Of getting fat during COVID?
In general.
I actually think I was in better shape during COVID than I am now.
Actually, I was.
I think because I walked.
I was running 35 miles a week.
We ended up getting a treadmill during COVID.
Yeah, a lot of people bought like treadmill, Peloton.
Workout stuff.
Remember when Peloton was a thing?
It you know what? It has been rather quiet.
And then Peloton killed an actor.
It did. Now that was the Peloton. That was the Peloton treadmill, though, wasn't it? It wasn't the actual bike.
I don't know.
Well, they had a treadmill accident involving a child that died. So it's like, okay.
Wow, you scare me to ever want to get on a treadmill again.
Well, I feel like you know how to maneuver a treadmill well enough that maybe children just aren't quite.
Peloton killed Mr. Big. Video at 10. At some point here, we are. I got inundated. Not inundated. That would claim that there'd be more than one email. I got a Kansas State fan that's just chirping the hell out of me this morning.
I'm sorry.
About Caden Massey choosing Kansas State over Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
Hey, meat. He's from Kansas, okay? All right. Be glad that you got a 6'8",
you up, meat.
55 pound.
More people need to refer to other people as meat.
You won, okay? But the guy is like, well, I'm going to let our listeners have at this dude. I might give his email out.
Okay. Or just screenshot it.
Because he's curious we've gone now 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we've not mentioned Caden Massey choosing Kansas State over Nebraska.
It's a 4-hour show.
Again, meat. He's from Kansas. Kleiman's done a good job of closing the borders. He wanted to stay home. Why don't you get back at me when somebody else who is considering Kansas State or Nebraska makes a decision here shortly? All right?
Also, we spent 20 minutes defending Smash Mouth. Priorities here.
Or did you listen to hour 3 or 4 yesterday where we really praised Chris Kleiman?
There's a big concert down the street.
I don't know, but I'm gonna just drop some facts on this guy's chin and let him clean it off. All right, here's Josh. Good morning, Josh. Sorry you have to come in on that.
No, it's fine. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Gary is a National League Central guy. I wanted to get your thoughts on what you would be looking for if you were Derek Shelton in the Bucs organization, because most of what I'm reading right now is that it seems like the needle's kind of moving towards Cruz with that pick, but I'm kind of definitely in the Skeens camp, especially with the shape that their pitching staff is in right now outside of Mitch Keller. I feel like the Pirates have a lot of young talent, especially at Indianapolis, and some of them are working their way up now, like Henry Davis and Triolo and Nick Gonzalez. And I just don't really see where Cruz would fit in, especially with them re-signing up Ryan Reynolds. And I want to get your thoughts on that, Gary. I'll hang up. Listen, thank you.
Hey, thanks, Josh. So I still would go Dylan Cruz. I know Skeens got elevated during the College World Series. Dylan Cruz is a true five-tool guy. Like Andrew McCutchen, a young Andrew McCutchen, was a five-tool guy. Dylan Cruz can be that guy. The only thing that I think would change with the Pirates is Cruz wants $10 million. Scott Boras is his agent. Now, it is doable because you're assigned as the number one choice. Your slot value is $9.7 million. So you could do that. And the Pirates also have a large bonus pool. I think, on Josh's question, I agree with him about the young talent that the Pirates have done. As much as the Pirate fan base has an angst towards the Nuttings, they've done a good job on the back end of starting to build up their farm system again. You know, when they made the run, 15, 16 in that range, when Garrett Cole was, pitching for the Pirates, they had a good young core, and their minor league system started produce to the majors. And then guys left, they weren't spending money, and you saw what's going on with the Pirates. But they're in a better position. They just swept the Padres, by the way. I think you go with Cruz, unless you think Skeens is a guy that we are close to being a playoff team, and Skeens can be in our major league staff by mid next year. But I still like Cruz. I think Cruz is a five-tool guy that can play center field. He also might play left field in majors, but also hit for power, hit for gap power, and has got speed. I think he's a guy that you draft a couple years, he's hitting near the top of your lineup.
Yeah, the rarity of the five-tool guy is indeed that. I for me personally, if this was Cleveland and they were in that spot, well, I guess Cleveland's a bad example because they develop young pitchers very well. But if I'm in the Pirates, if I'm a Pirates fan, it's extremely tempting to look at Paul Skeens because, and you mentioned a guy, Garrett Cole. I when I see Paul Skeens, his dominance, and the fact that he is still there's still a little bit of development that is taking place. That Skeens is a guy that can show up. He's pro ready, and so there's a guy that if you're going to kind of make the face of your franchise, you're going to sort of organize that around him. His ability to be a dominant number one is extremely tempting, but I would probably resist that urge from the simple fact of the rarity of the five-tool guy that Dylan Cruz clearly is. Skeens, I don't want to say you can find a lot of those guys, especially the way that he's built, but the way that arms are developing right now, the way that you're seeing guys come through the draft. I mean, even a guy that you think of Red Lauder, you think of a lot of those other pitchers that are even going to maybe second or third round guys. You can still find that sort of franchise-altering arm. It doesn't necessarily have to be a number one. The five-tool guy, in my opinion, is just so much more rare that if you have that opportunity to go after him, the money thing I think is worked out. And yes, I understand the Nationals would probably be willing to give him that money if he fell back. But that's a situation I think you have to look at the unique prospect of having a guy like that because they're just not regularly available in the draft.
So 4/5 of the year, Cruz was the guy at the top of the draft, and then all of a sudden Skeens is going to be your guy. That would say to me that it's a financial decision.
Mm-hmm.
That I like Derek Shelton And again, I like Derek Shelton a lot. I think that was a good hire from Minnesota. If he is still the manager of the Pirates, he's a perfect guy for Dylan Cruz. But if you think Skeens is going to be in your rotation by the middle of next year, see, Scott Boras will have a big say in this.
Yeah.
And Cruz may also start to give hints here because the draft is on July 9th. He didn't want to play in Pittsburgh. He'd rather play for the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's a no-brainer. You draft Skeens.
Yeah.
24 past the hour. Mike Schaefer is going to join us here in a little bit. That's another part of why the College World Series in 23 is the best, is we are going to talk about the Major League Baseball draft. Now, you've got Bryce Matthews, Max Anderson, Mike Bovee, who are all going to go probably in the first 2 or 3 rounds. They won't go in the first round, but they'll be second or third round guys. And then Emmett Olson's going to go in the top 250.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the LSU guys at the top, and then Langford from Florida being third, it will just add to this College World Series because we'll still be talking about the College World Series next month. How many times? Usually we get to the end of June, we shut it down. We forget about the College World Series till next year. We'll be talking about it next month.
Because we're like, we saw him.
Yep. All right, here's an update with Jimmy.
Which says a lot about how much fun was had during that College World Series. Nebraska ball Sam Hoiberg was honored this week as he earned Big Ten Distinguished Scholar Award. The honor highlights student athletes who recorded a minimum grade point average of 3.7 or higher for the previous academic year. I wouldn't know anything about that. He is a sports, media, and communications major, one of 10 men's basketball players honored by the Big Ten Conference last season. He was among 108 Husker student athletes honored this season. He earned academic all Big Ten honors this past season, was named to the Tom Osborne Citizenship Team for his work in the community. In baseball, Shohei Ohtani's Angels record 14th homer in June wasn't enough to overcome a 6-run third inning by the Chicago White Sox. He broke the team mark for home runs in a month Thursday during the 9th inning of their 9-7 loss with a 2-run shot to left center. He surpasses his own mark of 13 hit in June 2021. He had shared the Angels record with Mike Trout, who did it in July of 2019, Albert Pujols in June of 2015, Mo Vaughn, of course, May of 2000, and Tim Salmon in June of 1996. The homer was his 4th in the 4-game series, also extended his hitting streak to 7 games. Earlier in the week, he became the first AL starting pitcher since 1963 to hit 2 home runs and strike out at least 10 in the same game. He leads the majors with 29 homers and is batting .309 and will be your MVP at season's end. In other baseball scores, you heard that one, and you heard about the poor Padres. They're now 37-44 as they lose to the Pirates 5-4. Tigers beat the Rangers 8-5 or 8-5, and the Rangers are still in first place in the American League West. The Royals, have you heard in the onset of the show? They won. Yeah, can you believe that? They come back to win, beat the Guardians. Sorry, Nick, 4-3.
Okay.
Yeah, Royals now 23-58. Cleveland 39-41, but in that division, they're in good shape.
Yep.
Yankees beat the Athletics 10-4. Oakland managed 8 hits, so that's an improvement over earlier in the week as they fall to 21-62. Rays beat the D-backs 6-1. Marlins over the Red Sox 2-0. Blue Jays beat the Giants 2-1. Brewers beat the Mets 3-2. New York now 36-45. And this will warm your heart. The Astros beat the Cardinals 14-0. As you heard, everybody got a home run.
Ooh, Adam Wainwright.
14-0.
Yep.
Yes, 2 touchdowns. Warren Moon to Ernest Givens early.
Back-to-back nights, 14 runs. Royals.
Well, Adam Wainwright.
Cardinals.
Adam Wainwright's ERA is up there. I hope this is not the end for him.
3-3 and at 7.45. They fall to 33-47, 15-24 at home.
I know people are talking a lot about the embarrassment of the Mets and the Padres, who are combined 28 games out of first place with their monster payrolls.
No, Cardinals are up there.
Start to talk about the Miami Marlins, please.
Huh?
Miami Marlins are 14 games over 500.
Yeah.
And they open a series tonight in Atlanta with their young Perez pitching. That's a huge series.
1997 all over again.
And I'll give you Luis Ariz, who's now down to 392.
Yeah, bum.
Yuri Perez, who pitches tonight, who is fun to watch. You guys want to give me another Marlin? They're 14 games over 5. Heck, give me who the manager is of the Marlins.
Okay.
Oh, I knew this because I saw it when they played the Royals. And
you just mentioned a team that he most notably played for.
The Cardinals?
Mm-hmm.
Who is it?
Skip Schumacher.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. When they're playing the Royals and I heard Skip Schumacher, first thing I thought is, wow, he's playing for the Marlins? He's the manager?
Yeah, they are 14 games over 500.
Yeah. They're good.
And
nobody
okay,
notices
okay.
down there, but
Give me some more names. That's just kind of it's an unreal run that the Marlins are on. All this young pitching, and those are probably where you know more of the names. The young pitching is where they're making hay. I'll be tuning in to watch the Marlins and the Braves. And who would
On
have thought you'd
TBS.
be saying that at the end of June?
Again, maybe 1997.
So
with Bobby Bonilla.
Does Florida Gary have any rooting interest with the Marlins?
On a personal level, a very good friend of mine is high up in their front office.
Okay.
So yes,
All right.
he alluded to this a couple of years ago with their young pitching that if they were ever going to break through, they would.
This would be it.
He also may have alluded to getting Derek Jeter out of the organization was the best thing that could have happened. But I didn't say that, and he didn't say that.
Just out there.
Yes.
You think about the stories already in baseball. You have the Marlins, you have the Diamondbacks, you have the Texas Rangers, and even though they've been good, I still throw the Rays because of the way that they're doing it and the way that they're kind of running away with things. It'll be an interesting October.
Well, look at so 80% of the
And the Reds.
infield that was announced yesterday for
Yes.
the AL starters is Rangers.
Yeah.
They hadn't had. I don't think they'd had a starter since what 2012.
Yeah.
It's probably about right. Yeah.
About the time when they were good. Interesting October.
They've had one in 16. Yeah.
Definitely
Probably about
12.
right. Probably right.
In football, the recently retired J.J. Watt's joining CBS Sports as an analyst. He'll be part of their NFL Today studio team. Originally, Watt screwed up in a social media post saying he was joining CBS instead of the television network.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
That's really good.
works at your local pharmacy. No, he's going to work at your local network and be part of their pregame show. Finally, this is a cool story. It is. Tennessee State University recently announced it was adding club men's hockey, making it the first historically black college or university, HBCU, to introduce a college hockey program. The Nashville-based school said the men's team will start play as a club program in 2024, and while no timeline is given, TSU said its goal is to eventually field both a Division I men's and women's team. A pre-existing relationship between the school and the Nashville Predators is what laid the foundation for the school partnering with the Predators, the NHL, and College Hockey Inc. From there, TSU took part in a feasibility study that was administered by College Hockey Inc., an entity that works to grow the collegiate game.
That is cool. That's very cool.
I know the Bedard news was the big thing in Nashville. Tennessee State adding hockey is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that anybody in their footprint will follow. You know, you have Alabama Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that SEC school is going to add it, but that's a very intriguing move. And I imagine they will show up eventually playing here in Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
I would go on that trip. Hey,
hell yeah!
I'd go on a non-con trip to Tempe and Nashville.
Yep.
Both fun cities
for some college hockey.
Yep.
And Nashville's already a really, really good hockey town.
It is.
But that's a significant announcement that I'm glad you mentioned, and it got some good publicity, and maybe it'll help that area of the country that
it's growing the game.
It has one college hockey program.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time that Omaha did play Huntsville all the time. Haven't seen them on the schedule, but yeah, it's because things happen. Programs just don't get the backing. So,
all right, Mike Schaefer is coming up next. He's got a lot to discuss. He can beat his chest because 24/7 was the first to give Kalen a 4-star. He's in Chicago ahead of the Cubs sweep of the Cubs and Guardians series.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
Hey, we need it more than you do.
That's true.
I'm here for the hostility.
But Cleveland could get swept and still be in first place by the end of the weekend.
We are both in terrible divisions where 5 of the bottom 10 payrolls are in the Central Division in the AL, NL, and nobody has a payroll in either of those divisions that is in the top 12.
Yeah.
We could share alike.
This is that life.
All right. Shafe's coming up next. Matt Verzal a little bit later on Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Templeton Rye can be something for your life. It is whiskey for the strong-spirited. If you're strong-spirited, you should have Templeton Rye in your hand right now. It is a strong community spirit. From small town, strong spirit. Yep, they all go together. Templeton, Iowa, not very far outside of Omaha, where you can check out the distillery. Short drive. You can find out more about what makes Templeton Rye. It is American rye whiskey, available 4-year, 6-year, or 10-year reserve. Best enjoyed on its own or in your favorite cocktail. Like, you're going to be doing a lot of stuff over the holiday weekend. You know what? How about an old-fashioned Manhattan, sour, or Iowa Mule? Templeton Rye in it makes it even better. Go to TempletonDistillery.com. You'll find out more about their great recipes. And again, Templeton, Iowa, short drive outside of Omaha. Stop and check out their distillery. It is open most days of the week. They've also got an Instagram page that can give you more information. It is Templeton Rye. It is rye whiskey for the strong spirit, available near you. Best enjoyed on its own or in your favorite cocktail. Please drink responsibly. Templeton Rye Spirits, Templeton, Iowa, rye whiskey.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. The Connor Happer Show.
I feel the need to stand up for bunting. I feel as if it has been crusaded against. I feel as if there is a war on bunting, Josh. They hate bunting. They hate giving up outs. Nerds. It was started by that line in Moneyball where Billy Bean says, never bunt. You're giving up an out. And I'm here to tell you it's still good for something. So, once again, Connor Happer here for bunting.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Thunderstorms this morning, a few of which may become severe with strong winds, hail, and isolated flash flooding. Otherwise, today, a 50% chance of thunderstorms, particularly this evening. Staying mostly cloudy with a high of 87, though feeling like the low 90s. A low tonight of 68, a 70% chance of storms, once again packing the potential for severe hail and wind. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backland Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Still getting reports of that accident that has the left lane blocked northbound along the JFK at exit 452, and that's going to be backed up all the way to L Street, and you can expect delays of up to 5 minutes in that area. And we're also still getting reports of that vehicle that was spun out northbound along the JFK at Gilmore Avenue, so please be cautious if you're in that area as well. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for a little bit of a delay near Gold Coast Road. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
You could win a trip to Nashville's iconic Ryman Auditorium for a private concert by Luke Combs and a chance at $500,000. Just enter non-winning Nebraska Lottery Luke Combs scratch tickets before August 1st. Scratch ticket top prize odds, 1 in 128,000.
Email us on the Equitable inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can hit me up, agree, disagree, tell me your thoughts on life at Handley at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. Their annual 4-person 4th of July scramble is coming up at 8:30 a.m. on Independence Day. How do you get signed up? Well, you go to their website, miraclehillgolf.com/store. You got to get signed up for this one fast because the spots will go by soon. And give them a call at 402-498-0220 to book your tee times today. They're located just north of Dodge on 120th Street, Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
Make this baseball season a home run with Templeton Rye. It's whiskey for the strong-spirited. They've got an all-star lineup of 4-year, 6-year, and 10-year reserve. Templeton Rye, crafted with a strong community spirit, it is the perfect way to celebrate your home team. Templeton Rye, whiskey for the strong-spirited, available near you.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. Well, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Fireworks season is here. This week is a Zone Deal 4th of July Mega Week. Each day, we'll feature deals from businesses sure to make your 4th of July great. Half off. Check out our deals from Twisted Thunder Fireworks. And to fill your stomachs, half off deals from Cops and Ted and Wally's Premium Ice Cream. All for half off. Don't miss this 4th of July Zone Mega Week at 1620thezone.com and click deals.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, time to talk to Mr. 24/7, who single-handedly went to the higher-ups at 24/7 and said, if you do not give Danny Kaelin a 4-star, I'm going to move to scout.com. It's Mike Schaefer from Chicago ahead of the Cubs 3-game weekend winning series against the Guardians. Was my mic on when that happened? Good morning, Schaefer.
Good morning. I definitely should have threatened to go to a different company than Scout because 24/7 bought Scout.
Oh,
so they're like, okay, go for it. You know.
You remember those days when Scout.com existed?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Scout rankings.
I do. I remember almost.
I worked for them once.
Leaving to go to Scout at one time, so it would have brought me all the way back to 24/7.
Was that Steve Ryan that ran Scout here in Nebraska?
Yeah, I think that's right. So before Josh Harvey, Ryan was the guy.
I say Josh Harvey.
What's the name of it? The Big Red Report? Was that?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy. It hasn't been that long ago, but it's been long enough. I can't remember.
Okay, now that we're playing these kind of hypotheticals,
we're doing like Land of 10 too.
Ooh. Hey, you know what? In all honesty,
there were some good dudes.
Yeah, there was
good writers, good
assembled
dudes, good gals.
some really good talent.
Yeah.
But boy, that kind of went.
Didn't last long.
Yeah. They should have said it was year 0 instead of year 1. Before we talk about your Chicago experience and why you're going to Wrigley instead of the NASCAR race, let me just give you a little hypothetical. Because Pete Thamel has a story behind the plus at ESPN.com. It's all about Matt Rule. And Matt Rule's father once told him that to help rebuild relationships one at a time at Baylor, he should look at like things that are different. And so Rule went out and every Monday he would buy $500 worth of Popeyes for the team. Do you think if you guys were cratering at 24/7, if Brunt's went and bought Popeyes for you, BC, and Will, and anybody else that is associated with you, it would help build relationships?
I think it would certainly go a long way. I'm disappointing hearing this that Brunt hasn't considered it. As the unofficial leader of Husker 24/7, it would have really cemented his status as top of the food chain there, but that still remains relatively murky. At any given time, it could be me, it could be BC, or Brunt. So maybe I should be the one to go out and buy the Popeyes, but I don't actually want to. I don't want to be in charge. I just want to feel like I'm towards the top, but I don't want the responsibility that Brunt actually has. So I'm not going to go buy Popeyes for anybody but myself, if we're being honest.
Would it be Popeyes or would it be something else that would unite all with your guys' setup there?
We all like this place in Lincoln called Bonwich. If Brunt just invited everybody for a sit down at Bonwich, I think that'd be well received. There's if he flew us all to Orlando and we went to Miller's Ale House where the three of us spent too much time in 2011 before Nebraska's lost to South Carolina, that could be a good bonding experience to take Brunt back to a place where in 2011 he spent a week there, in 2012 he spent a week there. He celebrated his birthday back-to-back years. He's a January 1 baby.
Oh.
He celebrated his birthday back-to-back years at Miller's Ale House. So, that's, not everybody gets to say that.
That is amazing. I'm going to jot that down. All right. Now that we're about done with the month of June, and Nebraska has been on a roll, they've gotten to 22 commits. Highly recommend your chat, and I don't believe it's behind the paywall, with Carlin Jones.
Right.
Yeah, with Carlin Jones.
You can't make people pay for that kind of gold.
and hey, you're not being sarcastic. You're not being typical Mike Schaefer. That's true. I like that pickup. Not just because of what he said to you. I like there's a lot of things about the position and where he's from in Houston, and then just the player. But as now you unpack the month of June, and for Nebraska to essentially be done with the 24 class and they can start working on 25. What prospect, what story of how they got him, what else stands out in the month of June with Nebraska's recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a couple different storylines that you can really kind of pull some threads on and really sort of take a look at what they did. I think you have to start with the camp offers. I mean, a decent portion of this class is based on guys that came to Nebraska's camp that Nebraska invited. Like, they went out and they outside of maybe Donovan Jones, the rest of these guys were all pretty targeted in terms of, we want you to come here because we've heard about you, we watched your film, we want to see you up close. But guys like Jake Peters, Landon Davidson, Rex Guthrie, those three guys were all targeted invites to camp. Braylon Frood, they saw at that satellite camp, so he's a little bit more like Donovan Jones. I mean, those guys, they brought here with the specific purpose of, let's see what you can do, and then they were more than happy with what they saw, and they went and made offers. Like, that's really not something we've seen a lot out of Nebraska's staff. I talked, I'm pretty sure, on this podcast a few weeks ago about how Friday Night Lights is pretty stale and they need to probably change that up a little bit. Well, they got more out of their camp, and honestly, a lot more out of those, individual day camps that they had a lot of than I've seen from Nebraska previously. And so I think that's a notable thing. And here's what else I think it means. If you're a player in state in Nebraska, and you go to a high school in Nebraska, and you think you're good enough to play for Nebraska, and you didn't go to a camp this month, you did yourself a massive disservice, because they have shown far more than other staff that they are willing to offer you, regardless of what other offers you have, based on what you can do in a camp setting. And so if that doesn't entice every 25 and 26 and 27 going forward to show up at camp, if you think you're good enough to play D1 football, Matt Rule wants to see you. He absolutely does, and he proved it this June. I think that's a huge thing. And then, of course, Carter Nelson in itself is a big story, the way that they were able to go about recruiting him, getting him in the fold, all of those things. When it looked bleak at the beginning of the month, the Bellevue West, those two guys joining Daniel Palin, that's its own subplot. This whole Grant Bricks, Caden Massey, Caleb Pyfram, Preston Talmua, what's going to happen on the offensive line, that's kind of its own storyline. But the biggest thing really to me was that camp thing, because I think that was going to reverberate. And I think it really matters here locally, because there's always that chatter of, they don't care about the in-state kids. They don't really give us opportunities. They want everybody to walk on. I don't think that's going to be the staff. If you want your opportunity, you got to go take it. And I think there's some kids out there that did not do that, and they should be kicking themselves for it.
Shafe, the conversation as you have with some of these guys, whether it's Carlin Jones or any of the other commits, I'm curious on the role and the plan that's kind of presented from Matt Rule and the coaching staff. And I'm not sure, how much insight you've gotten from every one of them, but is there anything about, whether you want to call it the sales pitch or their vision, their plan for each of these commits, that stands out, that might be a little bit different from what you've understood compared to maybe some of the previous coaching staffs that have been there?
It hasn't. I haven't gotten far enough in the weeds with everybody to know if there's just this, and there certainly is an individualized plan,
right?
But a lot of what these guys talk about, and Carlin Jones was another one in between, a lot more colorful quotes. There was a quote in there about how with Matt Rule, it's family, and you can tell that it's family. And I've had more than enough of these recruits come off of these official visits talking about how they feel that way, and then they point out stuff that just kind of lines up. They point out, look at his coaching staff. He works with a lot of guys that he's coached. He obviously wants to be around people that he's comfortable with, but people also want to come back and be around him. But that matters to some of these guys. But they like the idea, so Carlin Jones, for instance, and this just wasn't from yesterday, it was from previous conversations, he really likes that Terrence Knighton was coached by Matt Rule, because he feels like you're going to get consistency that way. Rather than having a defensive line coach who feels like this, and then your head coach says this, and your defensive coordinator says that, it's a consistent line of communication that makes everyone feel like they're on the same page, which is, some families are very dysfunctional, mine, for example. But other families, it seems like they're all pretty much lined up. And I think that's one of the overarching things that has come out of this month of June, is that when it gets into official visit season and Matt Rule has the opportunity to talk to groups at large or individual players, a lot of times these recruits come out and they start parroting things that he would say about the family, about the togetherness, about working as a group. It certainly has come across that his message has been, I think, well received in that regard. And like I said, there's individual plans, but that seems to have taken a back seat. So this is more of a collective versus a group of individuals. And I think they're really trying to pitch that. I think they're trying to sell them that you're going to do this together. It's not you're going to come here and we need you to help turn this thing around. It's we need all of us. And you're a piece of all. It's a different kind of message, but I think it subtly has been received very well.
That's a great point. Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7 joining us. All right, this morning in my email box, I feel like Baron Miles in the back of the end zone against K-State 94 just swatting passes away. Because Nebraska and K-State are going head-to-head. Caden Massey last night is staying home. Probably not a surprise. I know you tried to get it out of him, but probably not a surprise that he's staying. Now we transition to a player that's closer to Omaha Lincoln in Grant Bricks from Logan Magnolia that is a 4-star offensive lineman that's got Nebraska or K-State. My first question is, what does it say for Nebraska? What does it say for Kansas State? But maybe more for Nebraska, that they are going kind of head-to-head for some of the same prospects, Kleiman against Rule.
Well, I love it in this sense. Connor Riley might be the best offensive line coach in the area. And I'm even including what goes on over at Iowa with Sheriff Baxby. I mean, I just think, I think really highly of Connor Riley and just the way he goes about doing his work. He recruits the state of Nebraska and the area around here. He's obviously, he's a Lincoln Pius guy, which I didn't actually know. I knew he had connections otherwise to the state, but I didn't know that he was a former Pius player. And so I think Connor Riley for Kansas State, certainly, if you're recruiting for offensive linemen and he's recruiting the same guys, I think you're on the right path because he's built really good offensive lines that are going to continue to be really good. And so I think that's a big part of it. And then, the consistency of Kansas State right now, cover your ears if you don't like these sort of comments, the consistency of Kansas State right now is kind of where Nebraska wants to get to, right? Like they would like to get to the point where they have, it feels like a down season when you go 6-6 and you're competing for your conference championship. And, they might be more of a top 15 team than they are a top 10 team, but that's a hell of a lot better than a top 115 team like Nebraska's been in the last couple of years. So it's a situation where I think, I don't know that they're going to model themselves off of Kansas State, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that when you're talking about regional players, that's a grouping that I think looks pretty good. If you're down with Oklahoma, Kansas State, Ole Miss, and Nebraska for Caden Massey, and I think they finished second. I think it's pretty clear they finished second. That's a good spot to be with Grant Bricks. Similar teams swap out Ole Miss for Alabama. So I mean, like this is a big time recruitment, and it's one where it'd be really big for Donovan Raiola for Nebraska to win this because I think it would ease up on some of the upset fans about just sort of where offensive line recruiting play has been, where offensive line recruiting has been, his nephew, all of those things. So Grant Bricks is a pretty key guy to watch for the rest of the summer.
Real quickly, going back to Carter Nelson, too, in your opinion, Shafe, bigger about the announcement this week in committing to Nebraska, his impact of what he will have for this football team in the future, or the fact that what Matt Rule and his coaching staff were able to establish when it comes to the number one ranked player in the state?
Yeah, I think it's the second for now because I think the first is going to remain somewhat in question for at least his first year on campus. I mean, I don't know that he's a guy that's going to be able to step right in and, immediately play for you at tight end. He's going to probably need a redshirt year. You're going to have to adjust from 8-man to 11-man. So his on-the-field impact is probably more likely targeted for 25, maybe the end of 24. So that's a lot of lead time in today's college football. But the impact of Nebraska being able to hold off Georgia and Notre Dame, when both of these teams felt like they had the inside track on Carter Nelson, like this isn't Nebraska kept an in-state kid and everybody knew he was going to go there.
Right.
This was the day of the official, or the Saturday of the official visit. I've got reporters reaching out to me and they're like, what the hell has happened? Why is everyone flipping this to to Nebraska because they were so convinced from what they were hearing that their programs were going to walk away with Carter Nelson. It's a huge recruiting win. And the impact on the field is going to take a little longer. But the impact of, okay, Matt Rule and this staff, like they made all these camp offers, they're beating out Eastern Illinois. Okay, congrats. Oh, they just kept this kid from going to Georgia and Notre Dame. Like that hits differently. And I think it gives a level of respect too, because a handful of Nebraska commits, reach back out to us and we're talking about how important this was for the class. Like they get it too. So it's from an optics standpoint, it's big right now.
All right, so Nebraska can start working on 25, and everything you said about Carter Nelson, and there's a lot of potential there, I absolutely agree with. I think the top prospect in 25 in the state of Nebraska is ready-made to play Power 5 football, and that's Christian Jones at Westside. It's kind of an interesting recruitment. He has gone to camps. He has been the top performer across the country. You've got Notre Dame that already plucked Teddy Rizak. Nebraska has recruited him very aggressively. Oklahoma is in. You have any read on where Christian Jones, that recruitment will go? Because I think when it's all said and done, his ranking will be higher than Carter Nelson.
It could be. It very well could be. The last time I talked with Christian, he expressed a little bit of surprise at how slow the spring was, even after he won that MVP from the linebackers down in Kansas City. He was a little surprised there weren't some more teams coming through because obviously it's been a great cycle for players in state. And so I think he is certainly thankful for the attention that he is getting, but I think he's expecting there might be another wave too. And certainly you get halfway into that junior film, I sort of expect that to be true. And at the same time, because other teams are a little bit slower coming in here, it really gives a big advantage to the Nebraskas and Oklahomas and Notre Dame because they've already kind of established the groundwork. They've already sort of made it known that they want them. And you can continue to kind of just make it more and more easy for a guy like that to say yes to do. And I think that's sort of where Nebraska is at. I would have loved to have seen him get back up for another visit to Lincoln. As far as I know, he did not make it back in June. But I think if you can get him out, maybe see if you can bring him in July at the end of the month, or if you can get him out for one of those early football games with Louisiana Tech or Northern Illinois, I think that would be pretty helpful. But he really likes the staff. He likes Rob DeVorchak. He likes Tony White. He likes Matt Rule. I see a lot more engagement, interest from him and this Nebraska staff than, when I was first talking to him last year as a sophomore. It might have just been he was so focused on what was going on with Westside that he didn't want to spend a lot of time on recruiting, but it didn't really feel like he really cared. And that might have just been a symptom of knowing Nebraska is heading for a coaching change too. But I would say right now the Huskers are in a good spot, but they've got work to do to really solidify that one.
All right. Will you be sitting in the bleachers this weekend?
I will not be in the bleachers. I don't remember where our seats are. I think they're slightly down the third base line. Shelby's family has a friend that has season tickets, so we just bought their 2 tickets. I might scout for Sunday. The weather looks terrible. In addition to, horrible air quality because of our friends up in Canada, it also is expected to rain. Now, that being said, it's only going to be 70 degrees both days there. So I will certainly take that versus when you and Brunts and I went and sat at Murphy's and the picture got drawn in July and it was like 98 degrees. I mean, so I'll certainly take this over that. But no bleachers. I'm really, really unhappy Cleveland lost that game yesterday, so I'm less enthused for this series than I should be. But hopefully they can win a couple.
Yeah, you didn't see the 3 games against Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, I had a couple fantasy pitchers going in that one. I know they came away with wins, so it wasn't too bad for me.
All right, well, I hope you're either in the Bartman seats or where Ferris Bueller sat.
Yeah, I'll send you guys some photos. I'll let you know.
All right.
I'll let you know where we're at. If you have Wrigleyville suggestions, this guy's for everybody. Just send them over to me on Twitter. We're spending pretty much the entire time in Wrigleyville. The NASCAR on the streets event has basically made Chicago impassable downtown. So we're just going to stay. We're going to stay out at Wrigleyville, and we're just going to try to spend as much time in that area.
Go to Rizzo's. Rizzo's was cool. I like that place.
Huh?
Yeah. One of many.
All right, and then find the lady that drew your picture, if she's still around.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you know if I see her though. That photo of me looking like Tom Selleck is always going to be a cherished memory.
All right, be safe. Enjoy the weekend with Shelby.
All right, guys, have a good one.
That's Mike Schaefer. Lots of great stuff on 24/7.
Someone drew a picture of him, like a caricature?
So the three of us went to Wrigley one day, and we were sitting outside of Murphy's drinking, and we convinced Schaefer to have this lady who was drawing caricatures of people to, I think we gave the lady a 10 spot, and she drew a caricature of Schaefer.
Oh,
How accurate was it? At one time he had framed in his house.
And he said it was kind of a Tom Selleck looking thing?
It was actually pretty good because he was rocking, he didn't have the beard back then. He had a mustache.
Oh, did he go handlebar mustache on that? Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Nice.
All right. 8:59. Matt Verzal is going to join us here last hour before our mini break into the holiday weekend. Plus, I just got some I'm going to spit some facts about K-State, and we're going to move on from Meathead, who emailed me earlier, wondering, how come you guys aren't talking about Kansas State beating Nebraska for a recruit?
Give me your heat.
Because he's from Kansas, and we like your head football coach.
We've spoken very highly of him.
2004, pal. 2004. We're back with more Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
It's time to wake up your taste buds. Introducing my new Fiesta Line Chicken Pizza. Spicy taco sauce, generous amounts of chicken, green peppers, onions, jalapenos, mounds of cheddar and mozzarella cheese, and finished with a tangy lime sprinkle. Add your favorite one-topping pizza and my sweet cinnamon monkey bread. Fiesta Feast. Now that's a fiesta for your mouth. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Let It Fly Sports Bar is your elevated sports bar experience. Located in the Capital District in downtown Omaha, experience Let It Fly's unique brand of hospitality with 2 floors, 2 bars, 2 expansive outdoor patios, and an in-house podcast studio with live broadcasts of the Let It Fly show, hosted by me, Michael Severe, and Josh Jones. Host your next watch party, private event, or date night right here at the Let It Fly Sports Bar. Now open.
Twisted Thunder Fireworks is going to save you big money. You'll find the best variety and the lowest prices in the entire state of Nebraska. Don't believe us? See page after page of products and pricing online at twistedthunder.com, where you can watch everything before you buy and choose local pickups so it's ready to go for you at the tent. Go to twistedthunder.com to check out all of our locations in Nebraska and the newest location in Council Bluffs. That's twistedthunder.com.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Your exclusive home for Royals baseball in Omaha.
Right up the middle, patient, and the Royals are a winner.
1620 The Zone. More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backland Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Still getting reports of that accident that has the left lane blocked northbound along the JFK at exit 452, and that's going to be backed up all the way to L Street, and you can expect delays of up to 5 minutes in that area. And we're also still getting reports of that vehicle that was spun out northbound along the JFK at Gilmore Avenue, so please be cautious if you're in that area as well. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for a little bit of a delay near Gold Coast Road. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
What does Saul's loan on? Almost everything, like tools, instruments, designer handbags, construction equipment, vehicles, trailers, appliances. $10 to $50,000 super fast and easy with no credit check. Saul's loans on almost everything.
Make this baseball season a home run with Templeton Rye Whiskey for the strong spirited. With an all-star lineup of 4-year, 6-year, and 10-year reserve, Templeton Rye is crafted with a strong community spirit, the perfect way to celebrate your home team. Templeton Rye Whiskey for the strong spirited, available near you.
Hey folks, is your concrete in need of repair? Kent Pavelka here to talk about your local concrete experts and a Best of Omaha winner, Everlevel Concrete Repair. They can completely restore and repair your concrete at a fraction of the price compared to replacement and offer long-term transferable warranties. I'm so glad I chose Everlevel for my driveway. There's a reason they're a Best of Omaha winner. Give them a call for your free inspection. That's Everlevel, Everlevel, Everlevel. Try saying that 3 times fast.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aww. He just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This mornings with 1620 The Zone.
This song almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
Jeez.
84.
Oh, Rat.
Rat. Was Rat now? See, this is something I don't remember.
Would they play the thing here?
Yeah. Were they more of a one album wonder?
So this was off the Out of the Cellar album, which
they were kind of they were okay, right? I feel like they were probably
so
more
they
of
went back to back. So they had Out of the Cellar, and then the following year, Invasion of Your Privacy was their 85 album.
Okay.
And I think they went one more a couple years later, but yeah.
It was short-lived. They weren't Motley Crue.
Well,
but they did live.
But they were on the stretch of you had metal bands that were coming out of LA.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like the greats of the great.
Guns N' Roses.
Like that time period, like the early 80s, we were a big metal band country.
Yep.
It was kind of new a little bit, and there were some great metal bands, and Rat fit right in. And I think Rat is still around. I think they are still touring. I think they are playing casinos.
They
get them here next year at the Memorial Park.
I think they were here in Omaha. I can't remember which venue in the last 3 years. Obviously not 2020, but they were, it might have been just before COVID or just after. I remember hearing Rat and thinking to myself, wow, they're still together. That's impressive. So I know they've been here. I just wouldn't know more than maybe 2 or 3 songs. That being one of them.
Melissa Etheridge will not be doing Rat covers tonight.
Damn it.
Hey, have you guys looked at your calendar on October 21st?
No, I haven't.
It's Saturday.
That'd be a Saturday. It's the third Saturday in October, which means Alabama and Tennessee are going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be a little bit of a revenge on the mind of the Crimson Tide.
There'll be a football game in Lincoln that day.
NU takes on NU that day.
Yeah.
Northwestern and Nebraska play.
The onside kick bowl.
It might be one of the single-handedly greatest days in terms of matchups in college football history. Alabama, Tennessee. I'm not saying Nebraska and Northwestern are one of those, but they play that day, so it's for reference.
It's always close.
Auburn, Ole Miss, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Illinois, Wisconsin, Utah, USC, Clemson, Miami.
Wow.
All play on October 21st. Yay or nay, if you are having a wedding that day, in any part of the country that college football is a religion, should you be arrested?
Yes.
Yeah, you should at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no saving grace here. No excuses.
Yeah.
It's a great day.
At least shamed.
October 21st. You're basically going to put yourself on the couch and not get off, unless you go to Lincoln and you go to Nebraska Northwestern.
I feel like that's got an 11 a.m.
Boy,
game written
what
all
will
over it.
what will the records be for NU on October 21st?
Because that would be game number. What game number would that be?
That would be 7. So they would have already played 6.
Could I convince you that Nebraska will be 5-2 going into that game? Because that's homecoming. It'd be the bye week after Illinois.
Okay.
Frost wasn't very good after bye weeks.
No.
I would, and you never know, because don't overlook the Michigan-Illinois back-to-back with Michigan could be number 1 in the country coming in here at the end of September, and then it's a short week. You go on the road to Illinois, a team that has had their way with you. Will Nebraska be 5-2 on that great day of college football on October 21st? If they are 5-2, Matt Rule is in the running for Coach of the Year midseason.
Yeah, because I'm assuming you would be chalking up Michigan as a L. So that means you've got a combination of Minnesota, Colorado. I'm just not going to mention Northern Illinois, Louisiana Tech. No disrespect.
They'll play them.
But conference games too. Illinois in there.
Probably more realistic 4-3.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
But if they're 5-2, they would be
5-2,
going into the Purdue game the week after for bowl eligibility.
Okay, so hold on here. We're doing this wrong. Because that would be week 7. That'd be
if you're going into the Northwestern game, it'd be a 6-game
So
stretch.
3-3.
Yeah.
3-3. On the road to 6-6.
Yeah.
Which
I think that's
3-3, yes.
If you squeeze 6 wins out of this team, you're doing something extremely right.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in a good spot with an influx of talent for year number 2.
Yeah, I could definitely see a 3-3 scenario. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right.
Could even see 4-2.
After the game, 4-3. I think there should be disappointment in Huskerland if Nebraska is not 4-3 after the Northwestern game on October 21st.
I would 100% agree.
Yeah.
I don't see Northwestern having the typical, now it would be a 2-year fall that they've experienced, but I don't see Northwestern having that Patty Fitz bounce back.
Well, being how they're 4-20 in the last 2 years.
Right. So I think you're going into that 3-3. Yeah. 4-3 would, if you're not 4-3, if you're 3-4, that'd be a major disappointment.
All right. Now I got to respond to my friend from Kansas.
All right, here we go.
Can you give us a name? Like a first name? Or is that just not worth it?
We'll call him L.
Actually, his name's Nick.
Oh, wow. Come on, buddy.
But I've dubbed him Meat.
I like meat.
Our conversation has now
LR.
turned into a good conversation.
Yeah.
So got this email in the Equitable Bank inbox wondering why a show based in Omaha has not discussed the fact that Kansas State beat Nebraska for an offensive line recruit. He, in quotes, put offensive line U. So immediately I'm thinking, oh, this will be a friendly, sensible conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
I
where you were
responded to
wrong.
him, and he responded back. So we've created a little conversation, but I think we need to get a little facts here. I have great respect for Chris Kleiman in Kansas State. Kansas State's football program at the current moment is better than Nebraska's football program.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought I'd say that, but here's some facts. I'm going to spit some facts at you. That's absolutely true. Because Kansas State's football program right now is better than Nebraska's program. That can't stay that way for the health of the state of Nebraska. And yes, Nebraska had an interest in one of your in-state offensive linemen, but your head coach has done a really good job recruiting in-state. 3 of the top 4 players are staying in-state. Good on him, okay? Because Kansas has a little momentum, but Kansas State is still a better program than KU. So you get Caden Massey. Grant Bricks, I think, will choose Nebraska. Don't know when he's going to make a decision, but, K-State and Nebraska are both pursuing him. Bricks was on Massey's IG last night watching his announcement. But I think we need to have a little factual discussion about Kansas State. There was a time period when Nebraska football beat Kansas State 29 straight years. And then in 1998, yes, Kansas State had their biggest victory in the history of the program. They beat Nebraska. They made a video about it.
It was a face mask.
Great. Congratulations. You beat a nondescript 98 Nebraska Cornhusker team. But you broke a string, and good. You enjoyed it. You had a really good team.
VHS tape.
Anybody remind me what happened with that 98 Kansas State team?
Sir Parker.
That is one of the best.
The Michael Bishop team.
One of the best Kansas State football teams that I've seen. Yeah, Sir Parker.
Then Drew Brees. I was at that game. It's one of the best college games I've
Okay.
ever been to.
I'm just spitting facts
Sir
here, okay?
Parker.
I'm not piling on, okay? I'm not pulling a Jason Peter to Chad May on you. Okay? I leave my hands out of there. But we have a little like Colorado with Bill McCartney, and you make it sound like Colorado just beat Nebraska every year that McCartney was there. I shot you down. Okay? Again, I'm Baron Miles in the back of the end zone in 94 in Manhattan, just swiping passes away. Do you realize the last time Kansas State beat Nebraska?
Yeah, I was in college.
2004?
2004 is the last time that Kansas State beat Nebraska.
4-win K-State team. They were 4-7 that year.
So 6 straight wins for Nebraska?
98, 2000, 02, 03, 04.
So since 04, yeah. Before they left the Big 10 or Big 12.
So after that 98 game, which, again, Kansas State should still be celebrating it. They actually should still be in Aggieville celebrating that win. Heck, I would celebrate that win.
It's a good game.
No. And hey, good on you, because the 04 win by Kansas State completed a 3-year run where Kansas State beat the crap out of Nebraska.
Yeah.
Okay. Got crushed in the we wear bad uniforms on the road year. Got beat by 36. Got beat up here by 29. Okay, you got Solich fired. You're happy in Kansas State. Make another DVD.
Bo versus Bill.
And then,
VHS
and
back
then in 04, Nebraska got thumped pretty bad down there. But that was the last time that K-State beat Nebraska, because the rest of the era of the Big 12, Nebraska went on to win. And since that game in 98, they played 12 other games. Nebraska went 8-4. So let's not just go crazy and say Kansas State, once they won in 98, just dominated Nebraska. It's not right. I know, I-70 runs through the state of Kansas. Well, in 07, Nebraska put up 73 on you, okay?
Yeah.
And then they decided, you know what? We're going to put up 56 the following year in Bo's first year. So I'm not piling on Kansas State. I have great respect for it. I just think for Nick, the emailer, we have to have a discussion when you go, Kansas State just continually beats Nebraska. I don't know. I'm watching a 2010 game on a Thursday night, and there's a guy that's running wild as a freshman. I don't know if you remember that or not. The game ended up 48-13, and you got beat so bad that they decided never to play again after Taylor Martinez ran for 241.
And you had Ron Prince as a coach at one point.
And they called off the Dogs in that game. They could have easily hung 60.
Yeah, Taylor was a Heisman candidate after that game.
Hey, be happy. Colin Klein, now you're OC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was in that game.
That's true.
He was a quarterback in that game. They had Chase Kaufman as their quarterback that year.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Carson
Kaufman. His brother was Chase, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good tight end.
What's Ron Prince doing these days?
Oh, you even stole a quarterback from Nebraska, and you still couldn't beat him.
Alan Everidge?
Josh Freeman.
Yeah.
Oh, Freeman, yeah, too.
But yeah, they got Alan
Everidge.
Who
He's a lefty.
Nick Reed obliterated once.
So it'd be nice if K-State and Nebraska played again. You know what? Why don't we meet in Phoenix right after Christmas?
Yes.
We tried last year.
I'd go to that game.
Hey,
I feel like there's a bowl game that would accommodate us.
We were very respectful of Adrian Martinez playing his 1 year at Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
Wish he would have stayed healthy at the end so he got to ride it out, play against TCU, play against Alabama. But Adrian had a good experience. You took care of him. You sent him back here. He wasn't having a garage sale in Wichita. He was having a garage sale a week ago today in Papillion. Just saying. All right. I'm just here for truth. I should be running for president in 2024. That'd be my campaign, all about truth.
There's really not much I could add to that.
But if Nebraska goes 1-1 and they get who is still available, I would consider that a win for Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Caden Massey has the potential to be a really good player. I mean, he's a big kid. He's 6'8".
Oh, he looks the part.
He's about 255.
They'll beef him up.
Oh, okay.
Hashtag Kansas beef, apparently. I saw that one last night. I was like, oh, it's a new one.
So
Okay.
we might have fought over water and land rights, but we can get along and we can share.
Yes.
You know, we love offensive linemen.
You get one, we get one.
Yeah. But you got
Connor Riley from Omaha?
Yeah. Let's just. What do we get from Kansas State?
Do we have any other coaching staff? Even someone who played for a program that no longer exists.
I mean, Scott Frost was a GA under Ron Prince. But
Yeah, I was going to go there.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Well, James Franklin was on that staff at the same time.
Yeah.
Raheem Morris.
He couldn't coach on Saturdays, but boy, he could convince guys to work on his staff.
Mm-hmm. And then make them run after they lost on a Thursday night in Louisville when they got back to the stadium.
Okay, so I have to balance this out. Bill Snyder once came and did the Nebraska coaches camp and said it was the greatest experience he's ever had in his lifetime.
Boom.
Now, I may be leaving out some parts of, but you get it. Yeah, Bill Snyder loved Lincoln more than he liked Manhattan. Matt Verzal, who remembers those days when Baron Miles was swatting passes and guys were grabbing nuts.
Yep. I mean, if that doesn't sum up a matchup right there, I don't know what does. Swatting balls and grabbing nuts.
That's a good promo.
Happy July 4th. Those fireworks are available near a tent near you. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
We have NIL, we have transfer portal, we have conference realignment. Do we need like a new scandal?
Man, I just love the games. I just like games. Well, it's people don't like the NBA because it's all drama. They don't like the games. People love all the drama. That's what college football turns into for 9 months.
Well, have you seen the non-conference schedule? It sucks.
Man, it is pretty bad.
It sucks.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Thunderstorms this morning, a few of which may become severe with strong winds, hail, and isolated flash flooding. Otherwise, today, a 50% chance of thunderstorms, particularly this evening. Staying mostly cloudy with a high of 87, though feeling like the low 90s. A low tonight of 68, a 70% chance of storms, once again packing the potential for severe hail and wind. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
Those of you who've enjoyed the cigar lifestyle for any length of time are keenly aware of the enviable reputation of Rocky Patel. Impeccable flavors and aromas, flawless construction. So allow me to ask, how would you like to attend a Rocky Patel event at Hearth Cigars on Friday evening, June 30th from 6 to 9? There's plenty of free food, live music featuring the Dive Kings, and of course specials on Rocky Patel's. Talk about a perfect start for a long Independence Day weekend. Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, I-680 and Mormon Bridge Road.
Shop Sid Dillon Chevrolet, Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer. Visit any of our 4 locations for your new Chevy or pre-owned vehicle or at SidDillonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
I should really give my dad a call.
Things you missed when you were tired suddenly come to light.
Wow, I'm a morning person.
At Mattress Firm, we know the right mattress matters. And at our 4th of July sale, you can get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $700 on select ceiling mattresses. Shop in-store or online at mattressfirm.com. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
We've all had this happen. Somebody says something about a thing, and then a couple of days later, you see an ad for that thing pop up on your newsfeed. Weird, right? Well, in an honest attempt at not being weird, Langfeld Overhead Doors would like you to remember them when you or your friends need a new garage door. You can trust the professionals at Langfeld Overhead Door to repair or replace your garage door. You can also trust them not to listen in on your conversations, because that's weird. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
You know that feeling. When you do something good for someone else, that volunteer vibe is worth chasing. To find your perfect volunteer fit, check out shareomaha.org. Find simple and fun ways to help. Give your time your way at shareomaha.org.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Now back to Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Maddie, happy 4th of July.
Hey, happy 4th of July, boys.
You got a little Nathan's hot dog contest you're going to watch. You're going to light up some fireworks, cook some pies. Big weekend going to the lake, probably.
Nope. I'm a full day off, so I will do nothing.
Ooh, good on you. It is well deserved.
I don't know if I'll venture outside, to be honest with you.
Oh, that is perfect for you.
There are a couple opportunities. I'll see how the day goes. But yeah, there's a couple projects that I'm working on, and I need to find somebody that can either teach me to or help me with just creating a design for a T-shirt, or numerous T-shirts. So I need somebody that's willing to just let me pay them for probably 3-4 hours of their day, and then get a bunch of these things done. That I got some loose ends I got to tap. So that's what holiday is for me. I tie up loose ends.
Okay. Hey, do you know Triple B in Lincoln?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I got to go a different direction with that, though. I can't do it that way.
Okay.
There's a conflict on a couple things with some of the people I'm working with. So.
Okay.
Is there a theme of these T-shirts that we could?
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that right now, but it'll be coming out pretty quick.
Okay.
All right. Let's shift to a conversation that has happened because there are some key offensive linemen that are making decisions. An Omaha Central offensive lineman chooses Illinois. There's a connection on Illinois' staff. Bart Miller, who was at Nebraska, is on Bielema's staff. They get him. A Kansas State has done a good job recruiting offensive linemen. They got one of the better offensive line coaches in America. They keep a guy home. Logan Magnolia has got one of the top offensive linemen. He is choosing between Nebraska and Kansas State. We may have talked about this before, but this is in your wheelhouse as a offensive line coach. If you were a college prospect right now, let's say you are going into your senior year at GI, and the late Milt Tenneper, the legend, or somebody else is at Nebraska as the offensive line coach, or you're being recruited by other schools, what is attractive to you in an offensive line coach right now? You like the school, you like the head coach, but you like your position coach more. What right now are you hearing? What would you be feeling about why I'm choosing a particular coach?
So the thing, it's the thing for kids right now, right, is they want to know you have a plan that will lead to their success. Okay, you have to look at how the kid was raised, how the kid was brought up, how that all worked. Right? If it's an academic-based kid, then you're going to say, okay, here's what our academic support system can provide for you. If you're willing to work, the sky is the limit. If you have a kid that thinks, and people don't want to admit this, not everybody is going to the NFL. Not everybody has a chance to even start a game at the university they choose to go to. So you got to assess that, hey, we view you as a project. And we're going to have to do X, Y, and Z to get you to be great as a player. And I'm a coach saying this to a kid. Can that kid absorb that and accept that? Can he accept what I just told him? I'm basically saying you ain't good enough right now. I'm going to make you good enough, but you're not good enough right now. Can you take that criticism? And that will determine a lot of ways. So much of this is the way the child was raised. If the child was raised to be flash and flare and, I'm starting day one, then you're going to do that. If the child was raised as, if they only had one child and he's been anointed the son of God since they came out of the womb, then that's going to be a problem. That one rarely works out. But if you go there and you say, hey, I'm a blue collar, I'm a hardworking kid, you don't think I'm good enough right now, but you're willing to take a chance on me, I'm going to prove to you I am. So that's all of that fits in right now more than anything. If you can have, as a coach, a clear path of this is how I'm going to get you to the goals that you told me about in the relationship I've built with you through this recruiting process. That's more what it's about now. Back then, you were like, hey, man, I don't know if anybody's realized this, but the school that likes me, they're pumping out wins, Outland Trophy winners, and they're sending guys to the league. That's a slam dunk. You're going to give me a chance to go try to be part of what you do? Sure, I'm in.
How about, and along those lines, how about the group of dudes you're about to join? what and especially the underclassmen, the guys that most likely you're going to be side to side with when you go on your recruiting visits, and especially now there's a network there, you're communicating and what have you. How much of that is an impact, how it was when you were going through that and what you think it is now?
What's the deal of, do you just want to go and be football, right? There's kids that are like, I just want to play football. I don't care about your social life. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. Blah, blah, blah. With linemen, like you gotta get in the room, and the more of them you can meet at your school, the better, because you got to figure out if you have a sarcastic room, a dry-witted room, like, can you mentally defend yourself? Here's the thing: once a coach has assessed you and they're giving you an opportunity, they're even talking to you. You've passed the physical test. Okay, you've met what they want you to do physically. What no parent, no high school kid, nobody will understand until you get there is this is a mental exercise. Can you mentally handle it? Or are you so mentally weak that you will break in a matter of weeks? I should have laughed at that, but I do. Because we had dudes that would come in there like, I'm this and I'm that. I'm the greatest lineman in the state of Illinois, and then you just watched it all fade. And you watched it get broke down day by day because they were so mentally weak they couldn't handle it. And then you got a 300-pound pack of wolves that's just picking at a scab and just waiting for you to quit. Because for them, it eliminates somebody that might want to try to take their job. But if they make through the mental challenge of it or the mental test of it, God, it still makes me laugh. Oh my God, I'm a sick person. It makes you better. I mean, it just straight up does. Like, find a crew of linemen, and their room was solid, right? Tight.
Yeah.
Go look at those people now and find out how many of them have failed. The number ain't very many. And if one of them failed, they've all been there to help that other guy get back up because they've all survived. Not the physical. Physical's part of it. Everybody goes through the physical, the mental.
Hey, give me your.
But you got to get in the room and you got to see if you can hang mentally in the room.
Hey, I know that you've talked about the first time you line up and you got the Peter brothers or whoever is across from you. What was your come to Jesus moment in that offensive line room when you walked in from GI High School?
Day one, when we were in full. Well, mind you, now we had 3 weeks of 2-a-days at Shrine Bowl. Then we came in and had 2 weeks of 2-a-days, just freshmen at Nebraska. Then the varsity showed up. So we are a month and a week into 2-a-days. And then the varsity shows up, and we got 2 more weeks of 2-a-days. We're about to be almost 2 solid months of 2-a-days, right? So we get in one-on-ones, and we've been going through all this stuff, so we know all the drills and all that stuff. And I'm doing okay. I mean, I got my feet good, and my hands are in a pretty good spot. There's one where you do the rep, and there's one where you got to be the dummy. Well, we're redshirt freshmen. We are lowest man on the totem pole, so. Get up there. And I'm at guard, and I got to take a rep against a gentleman by the name of Will Shields. I don't know if you know Will Shields, everybody. He's a very talented young man. Played for a long time in the NFL. Won some awards. I'm like, all right, so this is the dude. I guess we're going to find this out. And so I'm in my little defensive stance, and Milt says, set up, and Will fires off the ball. And he was hitting me before I knew. I don't even know if I had my hand off the ground. That's how quick he was as just a human. And then in the next 1.4 seconds, my 300-pound fat ass is somehow in the air. I was like, oh man, we are in a bad spot here. I am in the air. And so I hit the ground, and I'm like, and then thankfully I was chunky, and I just kind of bounced so I could get my foot underneath me. When I bounced, I got back up, and just jogged back up to the line. And I was like, do you want to do it again? Like, so it wasn't from a defender. It was from Will Shields. Will Shields threw me through the air.
So
that awesome human being, like Will's the best.
The mental part of it too, as you talked about, Did you ever have that moment of where you're kind of at a breaking point and you just kind of saw it through? I mean, is that just normal where you're like, gosh, dang, I don't know how much more about this I can take? Or is it something that you kind of know going in? You sort of embrace the suck, if you will.
To wrap the Will up as we're jogging, or as I sprinted back there, he patted me on the butt and said, "Welcome to Nebraska," to which I responded, "I'm from Nebraska." So anyway, oh yeah, there are multiple types, right? So here was the deal. Like they said, "You're pretty fat," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm aware." Like, we'd like to see you get down to this weight and then rebuild up. I was like, okay. I got down to that weight. So we didn't have a center. I was the only center that was the red shirt, right? So if you've ever been to a practice, they run 2 scout teams when the varsity is going. We've only got 1 center. So guess who ran both sides of the scout team? So I would run a play on one, I would run back to the other huddle, I'd run that play. So I ran just the whole practice.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this ain't fun at all. But I feel everybody as I progress through this is like kind of respecting me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I haven't bailed on them to where they got to put somebody else in somewhere. And, the defensive guys like Rainmakers and Perella, they're D-bags, but, they were our D-bags. And they would beat the snot out of me every day. But at the end, they would both come and like find me and be like, "Hey man, thanks. That was a great day. Practice, you did real good." And I was like, "Okay, this sucks. And if we could just maybe go to that JUCO thing and find another center, that'd be awesome." But so by the time I got done with my redshirt freshman year, I weighed in when I got there at 315. When I got done, I was 260. Wow. So I had done what they wanted, and then that's when I knew, like, coach was like, Kevin Steele would just scream at me all practice, but afterwards he would say, "Good job." And Charlie, every now and then if he saw I was about ready to die, he would kind of cut into the practice and take a little break so I could breathe or get water.
Wow.
And so that's what I knew. I was like, okay, I can fit in here. And the guys seemed to respect me. So then when all the mental part of it started to come, that was when, I got kind of, I had dudes like Lance Lumberg. I tutored Lance in algebra.
Lundy.
And so then when I got moved down to the locker room, there were some things, you had your meetings. Everybody got to have their own personal meeting in that locker room. And it was getting close to my turn to have my meeting. And Lance just put his arm across my chest and goes, "You're fine. Just sit there."
Oh.
I was like, okay. So I don't have to. So that's what I knew. Like, and here's the part that, like, when teams, or you look at teams that should be way more successful than they are, they don't have team guys. They have immense talent, but they don't have those team guys.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have those guys that are going to go out and give everything of themselves for the greater good. They've got guys that will give of themselves for their own success, but not for the greater good. And we had a lot of those guys that you may not have seen them as you watch the game, but they all factored into that game and somehow. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
fantastic.
that's how I knew I could make it there.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's very enlightening and funny as hell.
Welcome to Nebraska.
Yeah.
I'm from here.
Man, Will Shields was strong. Holy crap.
He was that. There's a reason why he has a gold jacket.
Yeah.
It was like Ricky Bobby. Like, I was like, oh, Ricky Bobby wasn't out yet. But every time I see that Talladega Nights, like, we are in the air.
Oh, yeah. I'm flying. Yep, we're in the air.
Verse, have a relaxing 4th of July, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, boys, keep all your hands and fingers.
We'll try. The digits will be attached. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's Matt Versal.
It's good stuff.
That was awesome. I kept listening to those stories.
Welcome to Nebraska. I'm from here. Yep, we're flying.
Will Shields.
That's almost unfair.
Will Shields on the side of Arrowhead.
Yep,
I believe it.
He's
So all the great linemen they had,
legends.
He was maybe the best.
And his kid's still playing basketball overseas, doing well.
That's just unfair, though. And
unfair, yes, but sign of a good football program.
Oh, yeah.
Is you got welcome welcome to the program, and you got All-Americans that are smacking you in the face, trying to make you into an All-American.
Yeah, you think about the amount of two-a-days. I mean, the way practices are constructed now and fall camp is constructed now compared to when you had split squads and then all of a sudden varsity gets there. You get a little time to get acclimated to a little bit more of college football, and then all of a sudden, hey, you got some confidence? All right, that's going to go out in a hurry. I mean,
We'll take care of
it's just
that.
crazy.
Well, there's you don't have the separation of locker rooms anymore. You don't have the freshman locker room and the varsity locker room on the North and South Stadium. I mean, you just hear story after story of being subject. Like, you walk in and you're a big man on campus in high school, and you walk in and they assigned you to the locker room in the North Stadium, and you got to make that walk down there while all the varsity are going the other way. That'll humble you pretty quick.
I bet.
News in the broadcasting world. ESPN has made a major move concerning one of their top sports. We will tell you what ESPN has just done. They have let go of one of their top personalities. We'll get into that as we put a wrap on this edition and send you off into the holiday weekend. Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Ever walk through a door and see all the trucks? Yeah, it's kind of like that at Gretna Auto Outlet. Half-ton trucks, three-quarter-ton trucks, dualies, gas or diesel. Gretna Auto Outlet will be happy to show it to you. They don't call it truck heaven for nothing, you know. Stop in the climate-controlled comfort of the indoor showroom or online with the virtual showroom at GretnaAuto.com. Gretna Auto Outlet, open Sundays too, just north of Nebraska Crossing on Highway 6 in Gretna.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Hi, everybody. Kent Pavelka here to talk about your local concrete experts at Everlevel Concrete Repair. Now, if you have cracked or uneven concrete, Everlevel can do it all with their complete repair solutions. They fix cracks, lift sunken slabs, and protect the surface, all at a fraction of the price compared to replacement. And better yet, they offer long-term transferable warranties. I'm so glad I chose Everlevel for my driveway. Give them a call for your free inspection. That's Everlevel, Everlevel, Everlevel. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Nick here for Templeton Rye Whiskey for the strong-spirited. Baseball is back for another exciting summer, and Templeton Rye is bringing a few all-stars of their own. With their 4-year, 6-year, and 10-year reserve, Templeton Rye is a home run all around. To learn more about Templeton Rye, check out their Instagram, Templeton Distillery, or visit the on-site distillery just a short drive outside of Omaha. Enjoy responsibly. Templeton Rye Spirits, Templeton, Iowa Rye Whiskey.
Fireworks season is here. This week is a Zone Deal 4th of July Mega Week. Each day, we'll feature deals from businesses sure to make your 4th of July great. Half off. Check out our deals from Twisted Thunder Fireworks, and to fill your stomachs, half off deals from Cops and Ted and Wally's Premium Ice Cream. All for half off. Don't miss this 4th of July Zone Mega Week at 1620thezone.com and click deals.
July 15th, the Storm Chasers are paying tribute to the Omaha Rockets, a late 1940s Negro League baseball team. Featuring Omaha Rockets jerseys and hats, we will also highlight Omaha nonprofit and Black-owned businesses. Don't miss the celebration and education of Black history in Omaha, presented by PayPal and Union Pacific. Get tickets today at omahastormchasers.com.
Omaha Storm Chasers family. Everyone get on your feet, stir up the storm with family.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Ver's left you with some positive thoughts on the 4th of July. Make sure that when you rejoin us after our mini break, we'll be back on Wednesday. You have all your digits.
Yep.
Like those sparklers, like those tanks.
Oh, the tanks, yes. I was thinking of the smoke bombs and the snakes, but the tanks were a good one, too.
I've not seen many of the snakes.
I haven't either. I don't know if they discontinued.
Not in a long time.
I don't know why.
Man, when I was a kid, yeah.
Now, those things, maybe they not that you care on the 4th of July as much because everything seems to impact the air quality, but, those things are basically just ash. They would expand. And then
I mean, Canada's pretty much just that
became
anyway.
ash. So, I don't know. Maybe it's not deemed safe anymore.
Your bottle rockets, your regular fireworks shows that you're going to have in your backyard, just be safe.
Yes.
And also make sure that you put out your punks.
Yeah, that also very true. That has led to many house fires. Also while we're on that topic.
Make sure your Ring camera is working to catch all the viral video of when your firework goes bad and it ends up in the tailpipe of your minivan. And next thing you know, your minivan explodes.
That is still one of the best videos I've ever seen.
Well, there's a new one that is out that happened last weekend.
Okay. And the fact that no one was actually hurt.
Just stick the bananas in the tailpipe.
Remember, there's like a baby there, too. I think you mentioned this a while back, too. I know I partook in this when I was in high school. There used to be a Millard North, Millard South bottle rocket war that we would have over by Harvey Oaks.
Oh, you
Maybe one of the dumbest things looking back on that we did. And the fact that we didn't have any major injuries. So I know there's a lot of things when you're, 17, 18 years old that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, it's because our generation was raised tough.
We, now that I look back on it, we were morons.
Yeah.
Take that for whatever it is. If you're younger and you partake in bottle rocket wars, it could go bad, real bad. So maybe allow yourself some time to process what you're about to do.
And we'll make fun of you on this show.
Yeah. Whatever you never think of the worst case scenario in those moments. There is one. So again, use that advice however you might. Just trying to help. Bottle rocket wars, don't know why the hell we did them, but we did. And that was dumb.
I didn't think about the worst case scenario until it was about 28, 29.
Yeah. Well, maybe 30. But it got to me. I finally realized, wow, we were stupid.
Or also, maybe like approach a family and shoot Roman candles at them. We've already had that off our bingo card in Omaha. You can go to jail for that.
Yeah.
There's a thing called 3 to 4 years for first-degree assault.
Yeah, it's assault.
There is media news today. So it's the end of the month. This is the end of the quarter, halfway through the year, if you're into fiscal years. ESPN has been having a reorganization. 7,000 Disney employees are going to be out of work.
Gotta pay Stephen A.
There are
McAfee.
some significant ESPN personalities, and today is the day that there could be familiar names that will be dismissed from ESPN. Jeff Van Gundy is no longer part of ESPN.
That's a big deal.
So the most honest NBA analyst that calls out the shenanigans, calls out referees, is no longer with ESPN. So it is Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and then they will look internally. So Jeff Van Gundy is out, and it just creates even more of a gap between covering the same sport, TNT, compared to ESPN. But Jeff Van Gundy, who I think people latched onto his curmudgeon.
He'll end up on Turner. That's where he was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I would. Hey, I thought he'd end up on the sidelines of someplace, but he liked where you wake up the next morning, you haven't lost a game. But Andrew Marchand, who is Mr. Scoop, he is the Woj of sports media, announced that Jeff Van Gundy will not be back. Now, I'm going to just assume that it is part of their budget cuts and not for his performance.
I would agree.
I'd say for the most part that, but maybe he pissed off the wrong person,
Yeah.
so it became an easy deal for them. But nevertheless, that's a big deal. It'll be the first final since 06 that Jeff Van Gundy hasn't been the guy. The last time was 06. Hubie Brown was with Mike Breen his first year.
Andrew Marchand also on that report. There could be a pretty decent shakeup on the NFL product. Well, Nikovic already was let go earlier.
Well, Jalen Rose is out.
Oh,
okay. So I was actually going to say, I wonder if Jalen Rose will be part of the actual in-game broadcast.
I was afraid that's where it might
and
go,
that's
but
in that
that's
same
it.
story. They were saying it was Richard Jefferson, JJ Redick, or somebody else, not Kendrick Perkins.
I could see JJ.
Jalen Rose and Jeff Van Gundy have been released from ESPN.
He got a lot of run at the draft.
But yeah, Rob Ninkovich was let go earlier this week. I think it was this week.
Yeah.
And then there's rumors about a couple other two mainstays, one a Hall of Famer and the other, I think, a Hall of Famer broadcaster and reporting too. And
Who are those?
Steve Young and Susie Colbert are rumored to possibly be part of these cuts too.
Well, and they dismantled. They should just drop ESPN Radio. They don't care about ESPN Radio.
No.
They had something in Mike and Mike, which was corny enough that they had great chemistry, which makes a good show. They had a good yin and a yang, and that went for so long, and that was successful. Where like mid-sized market like Omaha are like, we'll carry ESPN Radio, because ESPN Radio means something. And they had Cowherd and Levitard, of course, and I know Levitard. Not everybody got the show. But Levitard moved the needle every time he opened his mouth, which is what you're supposed to do in this business. But they basically punted on ESPN Radio. I mean, that they thought, we'll just throw some guys together and let's have a show. And also, don't piss off Stephen A. Smith like Max Kellerman did, and you lose a couple of jobs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Keyshawn Johnson, is he completely out? I know he's off the morning show. Jay Williams off the morning show. I mean, they've just said basically ESPN Radio, we're done. Which is really, really sad, because ESPN Radio
used to be really good.
I mean, how many national, and we're talking, and we're very lucky that this radio station is 6A to 6P. And there are a lot of shops in this town and in the state of Nebraska that, they like live local radio, especially when it comes to sports talk. How many national radio shows do you listen to now? Like appointment listening?
I don't have one.
Well, I mean, if I wasn't listening to our show, I'd listen to Patrick.
That's the only one.
Dan Patrick, which
like I leave here and I'm listening to Dan Patrick,
which started ESPN.
That's still a good show.
Levitard is online.
I like Dan's show.
And then he's not everything that comes out of his mouth is for me, but again, he moves the needle.
Yeah.
He draws a reaction, which you're supposed to do. Colin Cowherd plays the national radio game really, really well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wish these guys would talk a little bit more college football, but I get it where they're located. But it's, like the national shows used to be able to rattle off ESPN's lineup, but they have dismantled essentially ESPN Radio.
Yeah.
And even, you know what? We carry, Fox and a combination of CBS?
Yeah.
Huh? I mean, Jim Rome, Clint says, I'll listen to national, I'll listen to Jim Rome.
Fair.
Which is, beginnings at 11 over on 1180.
But even with, going back to the older ESPN radio lineup,
when you could still recite those like me back then.
SVP and Russillo, I thought was a great show. Like I still listen to Russillo's podcast because I love Russillo.
Mike Tirico did middays, and I thought it was a good show as well. But SVP and Russillo were a really, really good show.
There was the Tony Kornheiser show. I mean, it's just I hate to say it's all gone to hell, but it's all about the type of commitment do you want to have on that side of it, because you were starting to see. Hey, we're gonna retread the tires of Mike Greenberg, bring him back for this little 2-hour slot after he's done with Get Up, which half the time, and I know this was like sort of the walking joke in Chicago, is anytime he would have a fill-in, they just bring on 2 local guys to fill in his time slot because he was off so many times. Like he just
when did he actually work?
Yeah, I think maybe Greenberg, and again, the dude works hard in other areas. I'm not trying to say like, oh, this is a testament to Mike Greenberg, but you're gonna have a mid-morning show with a guy who's just getting done doing a TV morning show, ask him to do 2 hours, and he's doing it maybe once a week. And then there's a fill-in every other time. Again, it just shows it's a very lazy approach to your commitment to radio.
You can't just throw people together. Chemistry is everything, and you got to have thoughtful conversation. You got to have the yin and the yang, people that move the needle. And also, who wants to listen to national guys that just get on the radio and scream at you?
Exactly.
Give me some thoughtful stuff if you're a national guy.
Well, that's what makes Dan Patrick's show still good, is that he actually gets a thoughtful conversation going while entertaining you.
So this is, according to Marchand, this will be a day where, and they've had a lot of behind the scenes, but yet crucially important to putting on a business like ESPN. The on-air stars will be released today. He said around 20. On this final Friday of June.
Be some people you know and like.
Jeff Van Gundy, Jalen Rose, officially, it has just been speculated about their morning show. It's not coming back, but they just have not announced it publicly yet.
Yep.
So that's coming from Bristol today. That's the business that we are in right now. It grew pretty quick. You know.
Yep.
We downsize our stadiums and we're downsizing our media companies.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We'll still be here Wednesday.
But Jeff Van Gundy, you never know what's going to happen.
It's a feel-good Friday, guys. Come on.
But Jeff Van Gundy, that's a loss on the game coverage.
Yes,
big time. And I don't know. Would Jeff Van Gundy be courtside or would he be better in the studio?
Jeff and Stan together.
Well, also
That'd
remember,
be something.
the NBA's TV deal is coming up, and NBC wants back in because they are holding Round Ball Rock hostage.
Yeah, come on.
He would be great. I think he'd be awesome.
Yeah,
with
see,
that.
I mean,
I want to see him back in there.
Hey, NBA goes back to NBC. You know what this is? Everybody, while you celebrate the 4th, it's nostalgia summer. Okay, we're going to go to the theater and watch Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
We're going to go and embrace Grimace. Okay, it's nostalgia summer.
Connor did, apparently.
We got Barbie coming.
Yep, that's true.
Okay?
It's true.
Embrace the NBA going back to NBC, and then make Sunday nights NBA. Just like you did with football, do NBA
And bring back Ahmad Rashad.
Sunday nights.
Give me back Ahmad Rashad.
Summer Sonic.
I saw that yesterday.
Yes.
It's
Let's
pretty good.
Let's do
All
that.
right. Everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. We're off until all about football, kind of. As we'll be in the 50s, Jimmy, when we're back?
Yes.
Okay.
62 today, 59. These are not the temperatures.
Yeah, by the way, we're
57.
not talking about temperatures, yes.
Yeah. So that's what is ahead. And make memories, be safe, enjoy the extended holiday weekend with friends and family. I feel bad for you if you're traveling through the air. Bring a cot. For Jimmy, for Nick. The crossover with Connor is next. I'm Gary. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.